Well, folks, it's just the start of a new semester, and I'm already running late to classes here. We are ready to start the second game of EGF Overwatch. I'm excited. Dryad, I know you're excited as well. William and Mary versus DePaul.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting match that we're going to see. William and Mary against DePaul. It's a match that, from what we saw and from what teams were telling us a little bit about, this is something that William and Mary, they want to get their revenge. Last time that these two teams faced each other, it was very, very close. And now they've been training to try to take the victory here. It's very possible. So, I mean, a lot of expectations to see more than 3 maps, maybe 4, maybe 5. I mean, we can even say 6 because we already saw it once.
Yeah, you and me are kind of the 6-map duo here when it comes to casting these games. But for those who may not have heard of it, yes, there is a little bit of a rivalry, at least temporarily, between William and Mary and DePaul. William and Mary and DePaul. A lot of ands in there, but regardless of that, both these teams go into a very close game in the last show match they played against each other. So both are really going to be wanting to, I guess, go head-to-head here, have a good show against one another, and maybe flip the tables in their favor.
Yeah, the most exciting Overwatch that we see here in EGF is those teams that are very close to each other, that they have the same level of gameplay. Sometimes we see big differences of the top team going against the lowest team, and that makes it a little bit unfair. But now for these two teams, it's very, very even, so we have a lot of expectations from them. It's going to be the same map pool that we saw before. We're going to start with Ilios.
And we will be starting on Ilios, of course, that control point to start. Always a nice one, and I talk about it all the time, Brad. No Li Zhong to start, which is nice. It's a little bit of a breather. I always get a little bit tired going to those nighttime maps, but here we get to see the bright sun of Ilios, get a little bit more refreshed.
Yeah, and Ilios, I mean, when I'm playing this map, I hate it. But when I'm watching it, it's fun to see what teams are going to bring, and it's especially going to be interesting when they're going to bring the Zarya and the Winston, that double bulb coming through. So a lot of speed that they're going to get in different ways. That Echo also coming from William and Mary going to create a lot of damage for the teams.
Yeah, going to be looking to bounce the damage back and forth, especially Icarus, and have to be keeping an eye out and make sure they don't get swarmed by those dive characters. But already, William and Mary looking to take a pretty aggressive fight. It's going to be the Winston getting slept early on, and because of that, Max for the win going to be taken down. It's going to have to be DePaul backing up just a little bit here, despite having that man advantage funneled into this corner. They're really looking like they're a little bit discombobulated here. It's going to be the aerial shots trying to be taken from Icarus. Can't quite find the Echo, however. Looks like DePaul has presence on the point, slowly getting things turned around for their favor.
Yeah, the main task is going to be for the Winston to create space, and that's exactly what DePaul University is doing. In the meantime, William and Mary, that Winston hasn't given up just yet. Max is ready to fight, but they are finally forced to go all the way back. They have to regroup with the team. As Zarya is still alive, trying to run away. It seems like it's not going to be possible.
Yeah, Tracer gonna be chasing her down. The Tracer chaser as it goes, but the kill eventually not closed.
Finally, just some calm before the storm that DePaul University is able to get 25%. In the meantime, they do have that nano. If they want to give it to the Winston, then ideally would followed by the Farmer Rage would put the team for DePaul University in an ideal situation to keep controlling the point.
That nano boost going to be big online. We'll see if it can land, if DePaul going to be using it for a successful hold here. We hear that Tracer in the backline prime. Going to be trying to do a little bit of damage, but the nano goes in onto Max for the win. Immediately trying to do a lot of that cleave damage with the Tesla cannon. Looking a little bit discombobulated though, as it's electric Winstons in the most dual meaning there. As we see Icarus now getting the kills on their Hanzo. Max for the win, looking a little bit disoriented, still hasn't managed to lock anybody down, kind of wasting their turn on this Winston, now getting bullied out by Kronos, and manages to barely jump themselves back in.
Yeah, a little bit more control that they're able to get. DePaul University is still getting those kills, and that means another regroup from William and Mary. They don't have that many chances this is going to pass. That's 70%, and that means maybe one fight, maybe two if they make it fast, but the ultimate economy not really benefiting them.
Nuklama has this pulse bomb, will be looking for a decent sync onto at least one member of DePaul University, turning things around for them. But DePaul, again, having a lot of those ultimates, using that Tracer pulse mine to force a couple out might be ideal. We already see William and Mary kind of tiptoeing around the point. Nuklama taking a lot of damage as Prime goes in. The stick comes through, and Icarus taken down early on, but they retaliate with a little bit of the dragons of their own. Command now going to be pushing forward, and looks like the trades are going back and forth, Dryad.
Yeah, there's a lot of kills going on, but it's going to be 99% DePaul University. They have the advantage on the kills now. Also, the Gravitas are trying to get a few kills, followed by the Sound Barrier, trying to keep everyone alive. There's a lot of action going on, but this is finally going for the side of William Mary. They get 2 more kills, but can they get the rest?
That certainly remains to be seen here. It's going to be Max for the win, trying to bully this Hanzo, get anybody and everybody moved away from the point until the respawns can come online. It's going to be Unique, able to take down the Hanzo with the cluster bombs. Things might start to turn around here for William and Mary if they can just focus fire, especially on this Zarya. Looks to be very resilient here. Eventually, Max pushes their will towards that buffed pink Russian lady as the point does get flipped.
Finally, some control from William Mary, and now Aurelie, it seems like, doesn't really have any purpose just yet.
Yeah.
Not really going to get any value. It might have been a mistake, and it's a big mistake from William and Mary. They really wanted to have that rally for the next fight to try to push in and delay Deepal. They can't let them take the point for a single minute or they're gonna lose it.
Unique playing a little bit aggressively here, taking high to the sky, trying to deal the damage on to the Hanzo, seeing what they can find. Perhaps trying to build up that duplicate as well, can buy them a lot of stall time if they get the Winston. But speaking of Winstons, it's going to be Kronos popping that Primal right into the backline of William and Mary. It's going to be very difficult to deal with. However, it's going to be Max for the win, who ends up taking a majority of the heads here. The kills continue to come through. William and Mary now looking strong as ever, as we see them continue to try to hold this point firm.
Max with the 3k might have guaranteed control. Now make it 4k for William and Mary, and the Ultimate Academy also slowly recovering. They're going to have that duplicate as they want to push in, and Deepal, they still haven't figured out the way to go back in.
DePaul still right now just trying to build up a little bit of those ultimates. Obscure still very close to that nano, might throw it on to Kronos. We'll see exactly how they want to play with this, but it looks like they will be taking a little bit of that inner pathing. As now the Hanzo arrows, we can hear them firing off. Not really finding a whole lot right now. Eventually, though, they're going to be sussing out their options here, Dryad.
Yeah, finally they're going to initiate with that duplicate, turning into Winston already with that Primal Rage, playing very, very aggressively. Does get the kill into the hand, so now slept for a few seconds, but still they need to get more kills, and William and Mary, they're going to also get to 99.
Yeah, it's going to be a great spot for William and Mary if they can continue to close on these kills. Obscure on that Ana, looking at dangerously half HP. That's a very sore spot for the Ana to be. The chase coming through, Prime so low. Oh no, it's going to be Nuklama stuck, but manages to rewind out of the pulse bomb, saving their lives and perhaps saving their ability to punch a little bit harder into this composition that DePaul's trying to run. There's the Dragon Ball combo that comes out strong. Gonna be, however, DePaul getting the kills without using too much of that dragon, but now having to force out this Hanzo. Eventually does take the kill onto Icarus, and William and Mary fighting tooth and nail for this one, Dryad.
They are so close, 99 against 99. Finally, another rally coming through, and the kills keep coming back and forth for both of these two teams. That Winston finally gets taken down, and William and Mary, they will be taking the point at the end.
Well, wow, we are definitely seeing these two teams go head to head right now, Dryad. These guys are looking like they don't want to let any room go for free.
It seems like Deepal was going to take that 100% right away, but then William and Mary, they had a really good initiation. It was a little bit risky once they wasted their rally, but I really like being able to see that comeback. And it was also a very similar composition coming from both teams. I think the Echo, though, made a big difference, helping a little bit more the side of William and Mary.
Yeah, definitely. I think that Echo, able to take to the skies a little bit more, forces the Ana to perhaps look up if they want to have any sort of contest coming through. But now as I look ahead, I see the Sim coming out.
3, 2,
And what are they gonna do? I mean, once you get the teleporter, they might try to maybe go Tracer. We're about to see. Okay, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they're gonna do. They're gonna try to get more speed. And we do see both of the Echoes, though, so I really like seeing the biggest difference here in the field is going to be once event of break coming through for William Mary, they have to get the rally as soon as possible. If not, then the advantage is not going to be quite there.
Yeah, the clever move from Icarus, going to take that high ground as Soldier, really put the hurt onto Unique if they poke their head up just a little too much. And now as we see him on, gonna be going head to head with the Winston. However, has Max for the win, ready to contest with them. So far, neither team really looking to put too much emphasis onto the point. Icarus on that high ground, able to take down Nuklama. Things looking very good for DePaul, but we've seen it look good for them before. Gonna be Max for the win, going in for a heavy dive. However, a lot of bubbles and a lot of resistance come through for the side of DePaul. Nobody falls despite that ending of the first flip.
Yeah, Deepal getting the first pick and also taking control of the point at the beginning, but the fight doesn't seem to be over just yet. That Winston from Ted William Mary, they do want to engage and they're going to try to make it happen. It's not easy though. It seems like they're finally deciding to fall back for just a few seconds.
As we see now, the regroup comes in. Unique does get the kill, but Prime does get rezzed rather through the Mercy. A big anti-nade coming through from Obscure gives an opportunity for DePaul to strike back and strike back hard, despite the nano boost that gets invested on the TF2. That is so unfortunate.
And now, the engagement doesn't seem to be quite there for the side of William and Mary. They are trying to take control of the point, but it's not really happening. They do realize they have to regroup. That Valkyrie as well being used for the side of Depot is not going to be available for next fight, but they still have a lot to go. Ultimate Economy really benefiting both sides, but is the first engagement what's really going to matter for the side of Depot?
We'll see exactly how DePaul wants to play this. We see Icarus kind of sussing out their positioning for the time being, and Prime still trying to just keep onto the high ground without necessarily using their flight. Uses the focusing beam, tries to focus down Unique, but the duplicate going to be coming online. Primal Rage looking to be built up rather quickly by that Echo. It's going to be the Zarya coming in this time around from Prime, getting jostled around, not going to be able to build up that grab so quickly. Another halfway there. The question remains to be seen. Icarus using the attack visor, trying to force out the Echo, but Echo playing some excellent cover there. Icarus dropping the healing beacon right on themselves at the very last moment. DePaul still looking very good with Nuke with the double kill on the Pulse Mine.
Wait, out of nowhere they do get that. That might have been the winning condition for William Mary. They are also trying to use the garbage ton. The bubbles are there to keep both of the tanks alive, but the engagement, that might be the opportunity that they were waiting for. A little bit too late though, that rally.
Yeah, the rally gonna be coming in, not able to keep everybody online as Zarya drops right at the wrong moment. Gonna be Max for the win, just trying to get any sort of tickle damage with that Tesla cannon. Numbers are gonna be ticking upwards for the side of DePaul. Nuklama able to get onto point, but takes a nap for their efforts.
Seems like this is going to be 100% for DePaul, and this takes us into another map here in Ilias. This is going to be well out of both of them, so hey.
Yeah, we will be seeing, of course, Ruins come out here. Very exciting. Of course, we talk about, you know, Ilios having those different styles, but Ruins, definitely a little bit more of that sniper-centric map, and I think we saw Icarus play a little bit better on the Soldier than we necessarily saw on the Hanzo, so this leads me to be a little bit more favorable to DePaul.
DePaul, it seems like they struggle just a little bit right at the beginning to catch up to the speed that William Mary was playing, because again, William Mary, they're here for revenge, and DePaul, maybe they weren't quite expecting it. Now they are a little bit more prepared. They are going to play for both sides of Widowmaker, so a lot of those quarters that no one wants to peek, especially those Annas from both sides.
Yeah, as well, Prime gonna have to keep their head on a swivel. I always talk about that Echo being high in the sky, a valuable target for Unique should they find the opportunity there. Unique already scoping in, trying to find anybody who gets themselves a little overexposed. They're using those rotations as the rest of the teams go on fighting right there on Cliffside. A couple shots going in, not able to land though. Now it's a Tracer onto Icarus, looking a little bit frazzled there. Has to retreat back as now. Of course, it's gonna get capped by DePaul. Not a whole lot of blood getting shed back and forth.
Oh, and the Widowmaker just gets taken down immediately. Seems like the point is going to go for the side of DePaul University. They're just cleaning this up, and they finally might be able to get some percentages. Only a few staggers, but there's nothing that William Mary can do right now.
Yeah, and a nice shot from Icarus right onto the Zarya. Just closing it up as you need, sealing the envelope with a quick stamp.
Being able to pull up this Widowmaker and getting value out of it is not really easy, and I'm very interested to see if Unique now from the side of William Mary is able to make that comeback with the Widowmaker, also getting a few picks, especially with the tank lineup hitting so much protection, having the Winston bubble as well as those bubbles from Zarya doesn't make it easy at all for the snipers.
It certainly does not. As well, TF2 is better. Gonna struggle to get a lot of healing off with the Echo, with the Widowmaker playing so far away. However, we'll see if DePaul can continue to maintain this sort of dominance as we see. Max for the win going to be focusing right onto point, jumping into the back lines, leaving the rest of their team a little bit out to dry. Chronos, however, able to hop back, turn around, focus some Winston on Winston action. Now the Primal Rage going to be popped. Now the bullying tries to come through, pushing that Winston off the map. Barely able to make it back, but does indeed. Chronos getting healed up and just looking to punish this opposing Winston, who now takes a nano.
Yeah, a little bit more control, but in the meantime, DePaul University just having that point, and the longer that it goes for them, the better it's going to be. The Winston does get the pick into Obscure on the ad, and not the main support for just a few seconds. That Graviton, though.
Yeah, Prime gonna be throwing in the grab, keeping the Winston locked in place, but the focus fire just is not there, and because of this, looks like William and Mary gonna be able to come back clean. Unique now on the McCree, no longer choosing the Widow duel, instead just gonna be taking it to the sky with the Peacekeeper.
Already looking like the same scenario that we saw before, but once again, a little bit more of that getting ready for the next fight. William Mary realizes that they have to regroup and make sure that they're all there for the next fight. People also getting ready. They don't have any of those ultimates to properly engage. Maybe if they want to initiate with a Graviton Search, but their rally is there as well from William Mary.
And William and Mary have the opportunity to bail themselves out just a little bit of laundry. Getting jumped by that Winston, however, a lot of the team there to bail them out, give them a little bit of the support, and DePaul getting pushed back a little bit here away from point. That's certainly not a spot they want to be in. TF2 is better trying to bail their team out with an armor pack or two, but there's only so much they can do when that line of sight breaks. Max for the win, going to be able to pop out of Primal, a little bit of health remaining. Now it's going to be a little bit of a slower fight as William and Mary look to continue building up.
Really good anti-nade as well. Almost getting break from inside of William Mary, but doesn't quite get it. Now, Winston does get taken down, and this might be the opening that DePaul University was waiting for.
Yeah, Gavant going to be holding on to that grab as Unique gets an exit kill, but might get close upon all by themselves. A nice predict onto the Tracer, but it's not enough.
Ultimate Economy now finally benefiting DePaul University. They can initiate if they want to with the infra side from Icarus. Then they can use the primary rage creating space, pushing everyone away. Now they're passing the 80%, so they're confident that once they win this fight, they can definitely win this match.
And that confidence certainly begins to show here as we see Zeph getting a little bit ahead of the point. There's going to be the infra sites coming out and online as Chronos looking to hop onto high. Unique takes down Prime, a good opportunity there. No combination with the grab going online. Unique, however, doesn't need any sort of combo as long as that Deadeye lands, and onto it does. Indeed, now William and Mary looking to strike back, get a couple more kills in their favor, as now it's going to be the last kills from Max.
And another opportunity, William Mary, though, they did use every single ultimate that they had available, and now Max does have to get the primary rage as soon as possible, as well as TF2 trying to get the rally, but it's not going to be easy walking, especially if Prime is able to get that pulse boom into the break. That would put DePaul in an ideal situation to take the victory here. They're already at 99, while William Mary just about to pass the 80%.
Yeah, of course, in order to get it onto the brig, the Tracer has to get very close, and that's always a dangerous proposition. Obscure getting pressured out, but has the rest of their team to keep them alive, and TF2 does get taken down by that Pulse Mine. Excellent prediction there, Dryad, as now we look to see Icarus playing on this high ground, just keeping eyes on that Tracer. Looking to put a little bit of pressure on the Winston as well, who's now currently trying to just contest point. The lone chimp all by himself. The Tracer cleaning up the Ana, buys a little bit of a reprieve for the side of William and Mary, but the question is, will it be enough? It certainly doesn't seem so, as DePaul continues to put the hurt down.
Icarus trying to get a few picks as well, and especially with the sound barrier, there's nothing that William Mary can do now. DePaul, they're predicting this revenge, and they're not going to let it happen. This is just a matter of the cleanup, but this is definitely going for DePaul.
Now the Wrecking Ball going to be coming in from Max as a last-minute contest, but it will do very little good. The Moira gets bonked away, making sure nobody can touch, and with that, DePaul takes it at a 1-2.
We're already seeing why these two teams were so close last time they faced each other. There's a lot of aggression, and Overwatch would depend so much on having those first initiations, playing fast. Both of these two teams are really good at doing this, but now just a matter of that ultimate economy that was benefiting DePaul a little bit more. That made the biggest difference. William Mayer wasted a few ultimates. We saw mainly with Brig. I'm a little bit concerned. Maybe they can play something else, or try to use the rally to initiate rather to use it in the middle. Seems like that was the only winning condition that wasn't there for the team, but it was very, very close.
Yeah, very close, I think, is going to be the definition of these two games, or the games between these two teams here at Drive. William and Mary, DePaul, both looking very good. They both had their moments. And, you know, what's even more impressive is that neither of these teams had plays that really highlighted one player. And normally that sounds like a bag, but that just means that these teams are playing really well coordinated amongst themselves to very equal degrees.
Yeah, and you have to, right? With the composition that you're playing with, when you're playing the double bubble, it requires everyone to put a little bit of effort into making the push effective. It doesn't really depend on the tracing and the pulse bomb or the tracer melting the health of the tanks. It's just everyone creating the space and then being able to get the kills at the end. That's exactly what DePaul did. Even if they didn't do it at the beginning on that first engagement to take control of the point, they were able to have that re-engagement happen and to regroup even faster than William Mary. So that was also another win condition that they had.
Yeah, I like the phrase better late than never. It definitely feels appropriate there. Sometimes it just takes you a little bit of time to get warmed up, to get a feel for your opponent. And then when you strike back, well, you might as well call it quits there because you're definitely coming away with the win. I think so far, though, neither of these teams can be counted out. Both teams might just well be getting warmed up. We might be seeing a slugfest, Ryan.
Yeah, and there was a lot of action that just leaves me very excited for what we're gonna see next. I definitely don't think this is going to go to only 3 maps. And next one, Blizzard World, another very interesting one for the compositions that we already saw from them.
Yeah, definitely. Blizzard World, a personal favorite of mine. I like the colors, I like the aesthetic, but it looks like we're not going to be seeing too much change up, at least from the side of William and Mary. We're going to be seeing the Tracer and the Echo once again.
And we definitely want to see the aggression coming through for the defense. That's one of the biggest mistakes that we see teams, is that they want to play more passive when they're holding the defense, but what makes a defense strong is that they're also able to push in to get those kills before the attackers are even expecting it. So really good idea from William and Mary. They're going to play that double bubble again, holding the high ground as well, very important. The Echo utilizing this hero that's so strong right now for Deepo. They might be also going for a similar composition to just a few changes here.
Yeah, Chronos eventually going to be switching on to that Winston. No Roadhog this time around. The Hook not going to be able to quite reach that high ground. However, as we look at DePaul, we see them going through the bottom layer, going through Gift Shop, as now they're going to be setting up for their attack of choice. They do have a few options here. We'll start off with Icarus, sending out a sonar arrow, enabling this team to really suss out the opponents. And already we see Unique playing quite a distance away up in that sky, making sure that they can put the consistent hurt down. It's very difficult to mitigate this if you're on the side of DePaul. However, Icarus going to be trying to focus down onto that Winston. However, the bubble comes through massively there for the Zarya, but it's not able to save the side of Max, and that is so unfortunate. It was looking like such a good dive onto the Hanzo, but now it looks like DePaul have their opportunity. They see the opening, and Chronos going in big on top of that boat shack.
Yeah, jumping, trying to get the dive, and it does push everyone off the high ground, exactly what they were expecting, even if they didn't get the kills quite yet. But Deepo, once again, gaining that initiation, getting this early picks. Really good anti-nade, though. They have to play a little bit more passive now.
Yeah, the anti-nade, however, forces out a Laundry and does allow for those cluster bombs to hit, allowing the kills to come through. Prime looking very good on this Echo.
Yeah, definitely taking advantage of this hero once again, and Prime just getting every single kill. No one else is able to take anything from them.
I'm definitely looking very good and very ready to rock here. And speaking of ready to rock, we're going on to the streets phase as we see these two teams already fighting for possession of Pylon.
Yeah, the high ground is going to be so important for both of these teams with the composition that they're running. Their double bubble really requires that positioning to be benefited from. And in the meantime, the pillars are going to keep moving for DePaul University. Another pick, though, Unique does get taken down.
Yeah, with a headshot from a sonar arrow, no less. It doesn't look like there's going to be any mercy res available for William and Mary on account of no mercy. But now as we see Crow lining up underneath, perhaps ready to get a belly up dive onto Pylon Terrace. Just sussing out their options once again. Obscure does have the nano, so a good option to help Chronos build those few extra percents towards that primal rage. A lot of cart progress being given over to DePaul by William and Mary. And it's going to be Unique who ends up going for the duplicate, and with that, the dive on the nano from Crow. We're going to be seeing a lot of damage get done here, but not as much as William and Mary's is putting down. Chronos kind of getting neutered there on that Winston, not able to deal the damage to the supports. Excellent break play coming through, mitigating a lot of that damage from TF2.
Yeah, that was a really good fight for William and Mary. They were waiting for the Echo to come back before having that initiation, and finally they were able to take control and to stop the payload from moving more. But now Deepo, the ultimate economy is looking insane. 5 ultimates are going to be ready. They can initiate it with the Valkyrie, then they can push forward. If they want to hurt states with the Dragons, with the duplicate, there are so many possibilities from them, and they might just win this with a single fight.
They certainly might. Of course, that Dragon Ball combination, the grab and the Dragons coming through could be rather big. Chronos, Lina just walking forward, ready to pounce. Eventually does, but right onto the brink. Chronos almost didn't learn their lesson, however, did have the Primal Rage to bail themselves out of a very tight spot. Prime gets the duplicate onto Azaria, but gets put onto low ground. Can't really do anything with it. It's Zap who has to try to force out their grab all on their own. However, the cart still making progress. Still not too bad for DePaul. Chronos taken down. That's the front tank for DePaul. No longer able to provide any sort of relief, and now that means that Max can run riot in the back lines.
And in the meantime, the primary trying to be very, very destructive to the hands are going really low and finally getting taken down. William Mary once again taking control of the situation. The payload move a little bit closer, but still before being able to lose that second checkpoint, DPOL did use the ultimate economy entirely. They only have those dragons that are not going to be as effective as they would want to. William Mary now playing this so much better.
And William and Mary definitely looking very strong on this second point, and they used a lot of those ultimates by DePaul.
The rally, if they want to initiate with it, that's definitely a possibility. William Mary, there's a possibility to fix those mistakes from Ilias and to try to use it very, very early on.
We'll see exactly. William and Mary kind of want to take the tempo of this fight, as it seems like they are very reactive here. We do see that the Hanzo, Icarus, still does have those dragons online, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult to use them without the grab to lock everybody down. However, this is what I like. Nuklama kind of playing in the backlines, might find any sort of weak target for that pulse bomb to find. Throws it out a little bit wild, doesn't quite catch the onto the Hanzo or the Mercy. Icarus takes down Max for the win, and that's not a loss William and Mary wanted to suffer. However, they're going to be sending in another Winston, and this time it's going to be in the face of Unique. Does get taken out immediately, doesn't have the opportunity to build up a Primal Rage. A little bit of a lost cause there, as however, they do take down the supports for DePaul, and now things are looking a little bit better for stabilization on William and Mary.
Yeah, they're using that rally to try to stabilize again, to try to control the situation. Then they're just wasting a lot of time for this out of DePaul University. All the time that they had before is now down to 1 minute 20 seconds, so they have about 2 more fights. Ultimate Economy once again benefiting a little bit of DePaul, but even if it did before, they just didn't have that proper engagement for them. It has to happen this time. They have to try to use that Primal Rage more effectively, pushing everyone away, trying to get the pick into the supports. If not, then William Mary is going to keep having control of the situation.
Yeah, shout out to Nuklama, by the way, already halfway up to another pulse bomb after just throwing it away mid-battle. Definitely like that. DePaul, however, going to be looking to lean in with their ultimates. We see them under the overpass. Obscure gets jumped on by the Winston, shoots a sleep dart into the bubble. Not going to be able to put the Winston to rest just like that. However, the Nano Winston continues to look to put the hurt on. It's going to be, however, the Primal Rage coming out from Kronos, who does put down that Raging Monkey, as now looks to put down another and continues the pressure up onto these supports. The supports going to be the last ones alive here, but probably not for long.
Yeah, Crown finally taking control, gets both tanks, and now creates a space for the team to get everyone else. They will be getting second point. DePaul playing very aggressively. That Primal Rage trying to delay a little bit of that push from the side of William Mary, but it's not going to be enough. DePaul finally was able to get out of that fight.
Yeah, it's definitely nothing to be ashamed about if you're William and Mary. You hold for a very decent time on that streets phase. And Kronos going for a little bit of a dive here, but perhaps showed their hand a little bit too early. Now stuck in a little bit of a less than comfortable spot. He is able to extract as the rest of the team goes to back up, regroup, and start pushing the cart once again.
Once it passes corner as well, and I'm very surprised that William Mary letting them do this. Going to be so much easier to get to the third point. They only have 1 minute, so it has to be a very, very effective fight that they have to win here. DePaul University, they need to go into the poke phase, trying to get that ultimate economy to benefit them, but the Echo though playing so aggressive now.
Yeah, a lot of damage done by the cluster bombs from that Echo. Unique going to be able to build up a Primal Rage once again. Gets hit by the anti-nade, but has the Primal, so it doesn't really matter. The Primal will, of course, heal up that Winston. Echo, duplicate, whatever you prefer to classify it as. And that bought William and Mary enough time to get a couple of kills. Both the DPS taken out means the teeth are pulled.
William Mary once again taking control of the defense, and they're doing so much better now. Only 40 seconds remaining for DePaul University to try to get to this third checkpoint, and it's not going to be easy. They do have, if they want to initiate with the Primal Rage, they have the possibility of, they also have the Nano, but they have to make it happen soon. This is definitely going to overtime, even if they make it.
Yeah, DePaul can invest their whole war chest here. We see Nuklama playing from behind, trying to be a little bit of that backstab player here, trying to cause that damage, divert the attention that we saw. It worked for Unique last time. Let's see if the Tracer can pull their weight this time around. Sees the Mercy, he's sussing them out a little bit, throws down the preemptive spray, and the dive coming in from the Winston looking so supreme. Damage able to be mitigated from Icarus on that Hanzo, and now with that, it looks like things might have just gone the way of William and Mary. A double kill off the pulse bomb from Nuklama. That's looking extremely proficient there. However, a couple kills going in favor of DePaul. The Primal Rage as well coming out just to buy a little bit of space. However, going to be locked down by the Zarya grab, and with that, DePaul might be able to claim a little bit more progress here, but you got to imagine this is going to be a burning tick quick for them.
What a pulse bomb at the end, a winning condition. Now everyone from the side of Depot trying to touch a point is going to be the Mercy using the Valkyrie. The Wrecking Ball is trying to spin into point, but too late. UniQ as well as everyone else on the team for William and Mary are on fire. Really good fight, really good defense that they were able to hold.
Yeah, really love seeing that resilience come through from William and Mary. I mentioned that DePaul had quite a few ults to work with, and William and Mary able to brush them off, managed to hold that without letting that third point go.
Initiating match.
I want to see what DePaul is going to do now. They had the right idea into the composition because they were pretty much playing that mirror throughout the entire match, but now once they realize that William Mayer is playing it more aggressively, then they have to make a change. It's either going to be a change in composition to try to counter William Mayer, or it has to be them being the ones playing more aggressive. And this is not easy to do if you don't have the practice before, maybe in scrims, maybe in those VAR reviews, discussing who is going to have those first engagements. If Depot doesn't take this into account, then William Mayer might get the revenge into the second map.
That certainly might be the case, and our producer trying to make me get revenge against books, but our producer knows I hate reading, so not going to be having any of it this time around. However, we'll be having a little bit of a look at DePaul University's lineup here. The Hanzo and Echo coming out once again.
The Echo has been such a big key into winning and to putting pressure into the enemy team. For both of them, actually, those sticky bombs always having so much damage and making it really, really hard for the engagements to be effective. William Mary now, they have to play very smart. They have to be the ones also getting those picks first. They can even get a lot of time remaining, and they don't even have to get to the third checkpoint.
They certainly do not. It's going to be William and Mary barreling out of the spawn, ready to go. They're just going to be going for a little bit more of a direct push this time than their opponents did on their first attempt, but we'll see if it pays off well for them. Unique take it to the skies once again on the Echo to match Prime. We'll see which Echo comes out a little bit more on top. We can see high ground being held very firmly by DePaul, but they're holding it back right overlooking point. It's going to be Max for the win going in with the dive. The bubble comes online. The Hanzo getting focused down. Unique already doing an excellent job to put the disruption, put the hurt, put the damage, put the kills on the board for the side of William and Mary.
The minute you lose your Mercy, the fight is pretty much over. There's nothing else the Depot is going to be able to do, at least into this point. They're going to have to let it go for the side of William Mary, who are now going to start moving the payload. They almost have the ultimate economy. Unique has to play this very carefully. There is that McCree on the field, so the Echo can get taken down at any point with those headshots, man. That's exactly what's happening. Everyone trying to target the Echo, but it's not as easy as it seems.
It certainly is not easy as it seems, especially when you got Unique flying up there, but we saw a very quick first cap. Now we're going to see if the street space looks a little bit different for William and Mary, maybe a little bit more favorable. As we can see, both these teams just fighting around pylon, not taking too far of an engagement.
Yeah, and Depot didn't even try to hold that high ground when they were attacking. Now there's a chance for William Mary to try to do this, to try to make the difference. The payload, though, is the one that has to suffer for a few seconds, not moving, and they want to commit into the fight before.
Yeah, Nuklama looking to see their opening with Obscure, who does throw a nade onto themselves. Nuklama actually getting, I believe, disrupted during that ultimate. The Pulse Bomb not able to find its target, however, it was the Immortality Field that was there, and William and Mary don't care about that lost Pulse Bomb if they're just going to win the fight this aggressively. Now we're going to be seeing the duplicate go in and dive as hard as they can.
And Max just has some really, really good moments in the meantime as Winston, but the Winston right now, the Echo loses the duplicate, not really getting a lot of value out of that primary rage, and the payload is going to be able to keep moving. That's exactly what they want to do. Even if the duplicate doesn't get as much value, at least they can create the space to win, and they're going to have a lot of time remaining if they're able to get to the second checkpoint.
It certainly will. It will be a decent amount of change in the pocket for William and Mary. TF2 is better, does have that rally online, able to give a lot of armor to their opponents. Chronos will be eating a little bit of an anti-nade, however, playing indoors. They're not going to mind that too much. It's going to be the grab going out. Not really a whole lot to combo with, and Prime going to be taking a shot to Nuklama. That will be the fatal dead eye, as now looks like William and Mary have to back off.
People finally able to take a breath for just a few seconds. It seems like everything has been a lot of action. The Winston going deep. Unique gets taken down. What's going on?
A little swim, we'll say, Dry.
Our first swim, right? Why not? They do have a lot of time, so.
True. We have 3.5 minutes now as we see William and Mary looking to get regrouped here, but the Dragons go out rather early from Icarus. might be signaling a hero change, although I kind of doubt it. Now, as we look ahead, William and Mary continue to put pressure on high with that Echo. Unique, again, sometimes the distraction is the best resource you can provide there as well. Very close to that duplicate.
Yeah, and that's going to be another big win condition for the side of William and Mary. They can take this checkpoint with a really good duplicate, maybe into Winston if they're able to, and that's exactly what they're gonna do.
Yeah, Unique going in on the duplicate is the immortality field, but Zeph investing that grab just to get Unique caught on it, then has the primal rage to get themselves out of it. Unique gonna be resilient, very strong here, just causing a shakeup on this high ground, taking down the Ana, taking down the Hanzo as well with a little bit of assistance. This is gonna be looking very good for William and Mary, who now are on the fast track to a better third point.
Yeah, the tank's finally able to make some space for the team, and William Mary gets the second checkpoint, 3 minutes 54. That third checkpoint doesn't even have to be the entirety of it. It's just about 81 meters in, and that's going to be enough for them. So a big win condition for them here, trying to get those ultimates, trying to get that rally as well. That primal rage that has been creating space, they have to do it again.
And no Llama, we're going to be seeing the Winston chooses to help out their tanks instead of perhaps finding the softer targets in the supports. You don't want to lose your tanks early on, so I can't necessarily say I blame the shot, but I can blame that shot. Prime looking like a monster, taking down Nuke Llama from the low ground. Then following up with a kill on the TF2 is better. It will be an attempted return kill from Max, but it's going to have to be the retreat coming through from the tanks, as now William and Mary is looking a little bit discombobulated.
Yeah, they have to regroup as soon as possible, but Max in the meantime hasn't been up just yet, does get the pick into Hanzo, but in the meantime, one of the tanks does get taken out from the side of William Mary. That means that there has to be a regroup for sure. Now, they still have a lot of time, but you have to pass this corner now.
It's just going to be the one corner that they're going to be looking to get. One foot in front of the other, as we like to say. Going to be the cluster bombs coming out from the Echo. Unique, helping Zeph build out just a little bit of that energy for Zarya. The high ground now being held very firmly by DePaul. It's going to be a little bit difficult for William and Mary to mitigate this. The High Noon does come out, just zones out William and Mary a little bit. Now, as we look, it's just a lot of poke right now, but Nuke Llama getting a little bit too deep in.
Yeah, Nuke does get taken down, and I wonder, it seems like William Mary does have to wait this out. Yeah, they're getting taken down again, and DePaul is going to push forward. They're going to take this advantage to also just create the space into the corner. They've been doing it over and over again, but now they just have to consume as much time as possible. This can go any way. The duplicate, though, for the Echo on the side of William Mary is going to be ready. Big condition like we've seen over and over again.
Absolutely, as we see Icarus kind of trying to throw those logs in. The grab comes out, so does the Dragons. It's going to be a lot of kills coming through. Icarus gets 4K, make it a 5K with the Echo getting taken down as well. Echo falling right into the pit. Unique knows they're not long.
The classic Graviton Search along with the Dragons. You love to see every time there was nothing that could have protected them from that. And they do use those ultimates, but at least they're able to guarantee that more time is going to be consumed from the side of William and Mary. How many ultimates as well for them to use? Even if they engage with the Primal Rage, that's not going to be enough for them to win.
Now they're going to be investing the Nano on Max, and Max gets 2! That is a great start for William and Mary. Now they just need to continue to focus, but Gavant getting taken down means that grab is now off the field. They're trying to focus on the Echo, and it looks like the return Primal from Chronos might have just helped to stabilize. It looks like Max wasn't quite playing as much with their team as they needed. Trying to now cause a little bit of disruption. It's only got to move the card a few more feet. Can they do it? They still have a few more fights after this, but they want to keep this fight on its toes.
Yeah, the Baptiste does get taken down, but in the meantime, the numbers are benefiting DePaul University, at least for just a few seconds. That was going to be the High Noon. Doesn't really get any picks.
An amazing shield from Gavant prevents that High Noon from dealing any damage to the Zarya, meaning that Prime has to focus a few more of those shots in. William and Mary now on the path to continue that cart moving. It is looking so good for them. DePaul might have one final touch. It is going to be the Wrecking Ball, in fact.
Yeah, 40 seconds. It has to be now or never. The close one, like we see, is going to be ready. Unique here does get the pick. They also have that momentum. No one else, it seems like, is going to be able to charge. Now you see the Winston, the close one, going to be thrown to point at any point, and they're playing this very aggressively. They don't want to give it up.
Yeah, the rally coming in from Obscure, and a big eat onto the Dragons from Gavant. Not perhaps expecting the Diva to come out from William and Mary. DePaul caught completely off guard with that. Now it's going to be a Laundry able to just get a lot of damage in with that anti-nade. A lot of hitboxes to be had for the Ana. Going to be Unique trying to build up some mines on the point, just trying to wail away until they can drop them. Eventually they do, and now things are looking very grim for DePaul. It's going to be a lot more costly to start contesting that cart now. That's going to be the one lone Lucio, the one lone Wrecking Ball all taken down. It's gonna be William and Mary finally delivering that cards.
And that was very tough for both
Woo!
teams, but William and Mary able to finally take control. This is the first point that they need out of 3 to come back to their revenge. This is something that they warned us about. They were ready for the revenge, they were practicing, and we can definitely see it now.
Yeah, I mean, Dryad, it's fair to say that they warned us, but I don't think the other enemy team was warned nearly as
Same.
much. This is going back and forth. This is wild. Definitely enjoying every minute of it, though.
Oh yeah, it was so intense. I think the most fun Overwatch that we're able to see is when teams are playing, they're giving it their all, they're using all those ultimates that are necessary, they're playing super aggressive, and that's exactly what we saw from them. William and Mary, they came for their revenge, but Diplo, they weren't quite expecting it. Now it seems like they're just trying to adapt. You're kind of doing it, but it wasn't quite enough here in Blizzard World.
So, pop quiz here, Dryad. If you're either one of these teams, what advantages are you trying to take over your opponents?
It has to be, number one, it has to be the duplicate being effective. We've seen a lot of duplicates turning into Zarya and getting 0 value out of it. So maybe the Winston getting more value out of it, and you're able to just put more damage using the Primal Rage as well. And then second, using those support ultimates like that Riley that we mentioned to initiate if you don't have the Primal Rage. Those are the 2 main win conditions that I would say that are going to guarantee what team is going to win.
I definitely have to agree. I think we saw a couple lunkers in terms of those duplicates come through from DePaul. William and Mary, and a few of those decisive moments just got the Winston, got the primals in those crucial moments. I remember duplicate Winston came out, they get locked down with the grab. That's an entire ultimate committed to the Echo, but
Yeah.
she's able to build up that primal rage and allow the knockback. Doesn't get taken down. The grab was committed for basically nothing. A rough spot to be in, but well played by William and Mary. DePaul has to keep their eyes out.
Yeah, and those combinations that we also saw, those Dragons and Decorate and Search, are so effective. They work even better than you would see. Maybe even if you bring the McCree, maybe if you're even able to get a few kills with the High Noon, it's not going to be enough because you're already having a hard time getting those headshots into Echo and taking her down. There's a lot of counters they can have to Echo, but the McCree is going to have a more of a difficult time. There's not a lot of mobility, so if the sticky bombs land on you, there's nothing else you can do. That's why I do like seeing the Tracer also. The Pulse one and the Hands, I would say, are my favorite DPS lineup for this composition.
Yeah, I would say theoretically, both these teams playing McCree in situations where, it's reasonable. You see the Echo, you see the Tracer, you think, oh, McCree works very well against that. I think in practicality, we're not seeing it be as proficient, as efficient as you would normally like to see.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of it was intense. They have to, just really think about what they're going to do for the next map, because if they're going to keep at this, then there has to be a lot of planning, a lot of communication going on. What ultimates we're going to use? They can't use all 5 at once, all 6 at once. They have to think about maybe 2, 3 that they can commit, and that's still going to guarantee them winning next fight.
Yeah, well, as we look towards that guarantee for next fight, we will be having a quick break for the players, allowing themselves to breathe. So stick with us, folks. We'll be right back in just a moment. Honestly, Dryad, thank God we had that break. My adrenaline needed a moment to climb down. These teams already going at it so aggressively, just like two bitter rivals, although I imagine there's a little bit more camaraderie between them than that.
Yeah, that was definitely an intense match. I would say one of the most intense matches so far that we've seen here in EGF. And it's not even over yet. We need at least 2 more maps to guarantee who's going to win next map. Also going to be Volskaya, so a very, very interesting map for both attacking and defending for both teams.
We will see DePaul start off on the defense here, so a good opportunity as we see the Hanzo come out once again from Icarus.
And in the meantime, it just seems like they are feeling really comfortable with this double bubble composition. I really like it. We also saw in the match when we saw Fairfield University and University of Colorado, they were playing also that double bubble. So it seems like it's meta, at least here in EGF, and they are able to play this a little bit more aggressive. So really like seeing how they're able to get those picks, trading the space necessary.
And a nice sonar arrow coming out from Icarus right onto the Winston, ensuring that they know the path of travel for William and Mary, who now want to get a little bit of the jump on. Going to be clamoring up again, just figuring out what they want to manipulate first, what opponent they want to try to get the jump on. It looks like Chronos also taking advantage of the time given to get in that position, a little bit separate from their team. Won't be able to provide that support to their supports, to their DPS if needed. Unique going high up into the sky, throwing in some shots as now things are looking a little bit widespread for William and Mary.
And just a little bit of that poke damage before the engagement is going to be that dive. Max just trying to jump, not really getting a lot of value, trying to being forced to go the way back, and those rotations from Depot are what are benefiting them so much. There's not a lot of reach that they can get there.
Yeah, and then not a lot of pressure you can put onto point either. They have that McCree, as we just saw Prime able to take, or Icarus rather, able to take the shots out onto Unique. Maybe the flashbang onto Nucleum or towards Nucleum to just mitigate that threat, mitigate that tracer routing, making it a little bit more dangerous for William and Mary to really push up onto DePaul, who looking like they're the kings of the roost right now.
And they haven't even been able to properly try to contest the point just because of the high ground positioning that's going to benefit DePaul so much. They don't even have the ultimates, but just that pressure they're able to put in from that position is going to be enough, and that's exactly what they're doing. They just have to touch the border. They have to also contest the high ground if William and Mary want to do something.
And William and Mary trying to figure out what route they want to go. A nice anti-nade onto Crow, and Icarus falls. There's no res available, and that might be the go signal for William and Mary. It's going to be the Echo, and the Primal Rage now coming out from the Winston, looking to just displace everybody. Prime committing that Deadeye just to get the kill on the Winston. Although now it has cost them quite a bit of point percentage as William and Mary continue to tick upwards. They are at 87%. The Baptiste, last one to hold on McCree on the high ground, not going to find too much.
One of the biggest risks here of the high ground positioning is that the minute that you get distracted with something happening in the back is the minute that the attackers are going to take the opportunity to touch a point and contest it. That's exactly what William and Mary just did, and now they have the potential for a snowball. They do have a few ultimates coming through. They're about to have the rally. They're about to have the duplicate that we've seen over and over again. That might be enough to give them a lot of time remaining here.
See exactly what the path of travel is going to be. William and Mary already putting a lot of pressure onto Crow Nose, who perhaps peeks a little bit too far forward. Unique going to be taking the duplicate to try to get an opportunity to bully everybody off. And Nuklama actually doing an excellent tracking onto that Baptiste. Going to be trying to combo with the Zarya grab, but not quite able to find it. Unique, however, going to be able to be a little bit more successful with their DPS ultimate. It's just the Winston on point to contest here. Hasn't been taken down quite yet. In fact, will be popping the Primal, but Crow only going to be feeding over a lot of ult charge if they can't get away. Eventually, they do receive that healing from the spawn. Unique on the sky, trying to do what they can, but it looks like the recoup's coming strong from DePaul.
Yeah, there's still a lot of action. That respawn advantage definitely benefiting the defenders for just a few seconds. They almost have the point, 92% already, and a little bit more of the kills coming through for the side of DePaul University.
Yeah, just a couple of kills is all that is needed for DePaul, as now William and Mary have to make the retreat and get a full team.
They even decided to go Doomfist for that recontest, and it worked out. Now they decided to change it back. I'm very glad to see that Doomfist is going to get taken down. They decided to commit to it. Now Stonebread. Okay, now Reaper for sure.
Okay.
I think that's going to be it. Okay, Reaper also a good idea for the engagement. Now William and Mary still has a few ultimates to work with though.
We'll see exactly what William and Mary can really find to manipulate things in their favor. The aerial already taken by Unique. Max gonna be getting the nano boost, being able to take a lot of damage. Still has that primal in pocket. Pops it right as the shield bash comes in. Excellently timed there, making sure they don't die from the stun block. Capture point still continues to tick up, but Icarus takes down that Winston despite the primal, despite the nano, despite the massive health pools that come through. Unique going to be cleaned up quickly and easily by Prime with just a couple of pellets from that Hellfire shotgun.
Yeah, this is once again control that's going to go for the side of DePaul University. Just a matter of cleanup and forcing everyone from Liam Mayer back for them to regroup again. Every single ultimate that they've used so far hasn't really worked. They were able to get 2 ticks, so they need 1 more, and it has to work perfectly for them. DePaul just have the Gravity Searcher they want to engage, or ideally they want to save it and use it with the Death Blossom. I would really like to see those combinations once again being effective.
And Unique going in very heavy once again. This bought them a lot of time the first time around. Gonna be taking Unique out of that duplicate form is the Pulse Bomb, and that looks like it might have already put a little bit too severe of a hurt on William and Mary. As now it looks like we're just gonna back up and Icarus on the chase.
And if you don't have the entirety of your team, there's nothing that the Turtles are gonna be able to do. This is just once again the cleanup that's going to happen. DePaul University doing so much better now. Now also playing the Baptiste, and something that we haven't seen as much before, but they're definitely getting benefited already, especially with Amplification Matrix.
Yeah, the Amplification Matrix does come out, the Immortality Field to keep them alive, and it looks like the Winston's just getting a little bit too aggressive there. Tangerine, however, going to be taken down by a Pulse Bomb. Looks like it's stuck onto Prime, but they just use that Wraith Form to mitigate a lot of that damage onto them. Prime taken down after a Death Blossom, and Azeth very powered up, takes a little bit of a sleep start for their efforts. It's now the Nano Zarya Gavant trying to build up a grab. Can they use it in this fight, though, to get them some maximum effect? They throw it just on the Winston. A rare, interesting engagement there. It's going to be Frono's actually able to walk away with a sliver of health, making sure that that Winston is going to be able to get back a little bit faster, as now William and Mary trying their best.
Everyone trying to touch point. They don't want to let this point go for the side of William and Mary, but it seems like it's getting harder and harder. DePaul University able to take some control again. They did use quite a lot of ultimates, but it was a very long fight that they were able to almost pass a 50% again on them.
We now see DePaul with just a lone ult. We'll see if it will be enough to continue this defense here, as William and Mary looking a little skint on their own.
30 seconds.
And with only 30 seconds for the attacking side of William and Mary, even though they do have 2 ticks, they want to guarantee at least another round in case this goes to that 3rd round. And for that, they need another point to be taken from them. And this is not going to be easy. William and Mary, ultimate economy not there quite yet. They have to go into that poke damage, and it has to happen in at least 5 seconds.
Yeah, Prime gonna be sussing out that Tracer Nuke Llama. Not gonna be able to quite find the advantage onto that high ground, force that soldier down, but it does give the Echo a little bit of free space. As now we look, gonna be Max for the win, able to get those mines online if they can just hold out for the time being. Unique getting taken down though, not a great start for William and Mary into this fight. The mines eventually do go out, clear the point just a little bit, but it looks like it's just a moment too late. Now Prime on the high ground, able to rain down the shots from the Tac Visor, clean up onto the Wrecking Ball, onto the Tracer, and eventually the Brig, who only gonna be having a round.
The Brig also has been doing so good from the side of DePaul University on the defense. But those last 2 fights that we saw, Obscure was able to build that rally twice, and that really shows the performance. You have to play aggressive with your team, and also making sure they're able to stay alive, making sure that you're using your abilities correctly, and you have that inspire happening all the time. So DePaul, really good defense. They were struggling a little bit at the beginning just because they didn't have, it seems like, that communication just yet. But after that, they knew what ultimates to use, making sure that they weren't overextending, that they weren't dying when they didn't need to. William and Mary, now I want to see what they have to bring to the table.
I definitely agree. William and Mary put up a pretty good effort. 92.5%, nothing to sneeze at. And they're definitely going to be trying to hold firm on that second point, all on their own. But the question is, DePaul had a pretty good first point hold. Can William and Mary emulate that?
And that's exactly what they're hoping for, at least. Because the minute that it goes into second point, then you're running the risk of completely losing this map, which is exactly the last thing that you want. And William and Mary, they have to play this defense very smart. It's not going to be easy, knowing that the heroes that we see, especially the DPS, are going to be playing into the backline of the enemy team. They're going to try to poke a little bit damage and trying to go back for the Echo, for the Tracer, but it's still possible. Especially if you're on the win side, if you're able to dive before the Echo maybe gets taken down, then that might save you for just a few seconds. People, I want to see their attacking. It has to be fast. It has to be effective in that way that they can guarantee a win.
Well, it looks like it might be a little bit more cloak and dagger with the Reaper coming out now, looking to get tucked right into those tanks, allow, or just, I guess, prevent the damage coming in from Max, prevent the dive coming in, really put the hurt on anybody who gets close. Now, as they look to take the high ground, this is something that William and Mary should not be looking to give up too aggressively, and Gavant tries to contest it, but pays for it with their life. Prime taking a heap of damage, able to use that rate for him to get away, though, and now DePaul University has the opportunity to regroup, get themselves collected, and go at this again, but this time with a man advantage as they look to put the hurt down. Prime gets taken down, and now things are looking a little bit more even. William and Mary might start to regroup here. They do, as the whip shot goes on to Tangerine.
And Depot just doesn't have anyone to get the Echo, and now they're trying to jump. They're trying to take the high ground, but they have to take the Echo first. If not, they're going to take a lot of damage. That's why Unique already has the duplicate to use at any point, and now Depot is caught in a very, very tough situation here.
Yeah, DePaul gonna slowly be bleeding back in members, and if they're not careful, they'll be bleeding them in and out. And Gavant once again getting taken down. William and Mary continue to trade the Zarya for the continual kills onto DePaul. Chrono's taking a lot of damage, however, does have their Zarya to give him a little bit of a bubble, a little bit of a barrier there. As now it looks like DePaul finally starting to make some headway, getting a few essential kills there. A nice Wisdom Bubble preventing a lot of that blast damage coming in on the Pulse. Chrono's going to be popping into Primal, and we saw this work very well for William and Mary. We'll see if DePaul can turn it their favor.
And it's lasting a little bit too long for them to try to take control of the point, but that's a good initiation. The break does get taken down, and finally a few kills coming through for the side of DePaul University. They have that momentum going, that Graviton Surge as well. They are able to guarantee the kill into the enemy Zarya, and it seems like that's going to be enough.
Oh, but we see the duplicate coming out from William and Mary. They're really looking to keep this point as long as possible. They want to try to get that timer burnt down as much, make second point easier. I don't blame them here, but it does cost Unique their life as well as Nuke Llama.
That duplicate was also very, very risky to see. Now they're not going to have it for the defense that they want to hold so bad. The main defense that they have to care about, which is the second one, they can't lose it, or that is going to go the entire map for the side of DePaul University, especially because they have the ultimate economy, so the snowball potential is there.
It certainly is. The ultimate economy, very good here. The one thing I will gripe about William and Mary is that they invested that Echo duplicate when they really could use it on this second point. Now, as we look ahead, they're going to be trying to build it up rather quickly so they can get the point looking in their favor this time around. Wrecking Ball now going to be coming in from William and Mary, but takes a sleep dart in the back. Max not going to be looking too great for that one. The Death Blossom coming in, the Pulse Bomb coming in, lots of kills going in favor of DePaul, and this is looking like it might just be a very quick second point unless some kills can really start coming through, or at least a response for William and Mary.
Everyone trying to touch from the side of William and Mary. It seems like it's definitely going for DePaul University. They're getting the second take. They only need a little bit more.
However, it looks like the respawn's going to be concentrated coming through from William and Mary. Tangerine and Obscure taking both a big anti-nade, not able to keep themselves healed up. But again, it looks like William and Mary just don't have those respawns coming in as dedicated a fashion, especially with Chronos bullying the spawn point, not letting anybody get onto point. But all of a sudden, it looks like William and Mary suddenly able to claim a few more kills in their favor. Chronos trying to just take down that brig, but they can only do so much as that flail just cuts right through the bubble shield.
Huge picks. Both of the supports for the side of the attackers get taken down, and William and Mary finally able to relax for a little bit, for just a few extra seconds. That was a very long fight that we just saw. Only 2 ticks. Very similar situation to what we saw on that first round, and now DePaul is the one that's on the other side, is the one that's attacking. They almost were able to get those ultimates again in only a single fight. They're going to have that Death Blossom that they initiated with again, that Pulse Bomb again, the Nano. And if they're able to use it properly again and get them one more pick, then that's going to be enough for them.
Yeah, this is looking very good for DePaul. William and Mary need to be very conscious of these ultimates coming online. Gavant locking anybody down could be a death sentence for this team. And that's going to be exactly everybody getting locked down, it seems. But no kills coming through from William and Mary. Prime, in fact, dropping the Death Blossom of their own, able to take down the majority of William and Mary. I think Max for the win, trying to keep alive. Doesn't have the opportunity to drop the mines, though. And because of that, DePaul going to be taking the win here on Volskaya.
DePaul taken us to match point. They could potentially take the victory into the next map if they keep having that momentum. The ultimate academy, at the end of the day, on this map specifically in Volskaya Industries, is what makes the biggest difference. If you're able to try to use that snowball, that Death Blossom was very, very effective, getting those kills, also creating the space into point, and then, well, everyone is trying to look away, trying to see where they can run. That's when the attackers were able to capitalize. So DeepL University, really good job in the attackers, especially when they were defending as well. They had 4 minutes to defend that second point, and they did it over and over again using the ultimate economy. See, that's when we see the importance. When they're playing those mirror compositions, what makes the difference is definitely that.
Yeah, and one thing I kind of have to comment on here, Dryad, is this to me seemed very different from Blizzard World. On Blizzard World, it seemed like William and Mary had their Winston dives, had their Echo utilizing the Winston on a lock, but DePaul, this time around on Volskaya, very proficient in their own right, more so than William and Mary. And an interesting choice that, that skill, even despite being the same, doesn't transfer between the two maps perfectly evenly.
And I really think it comes into when we saw Volskaya at the beginning, there were two different approaches. When we saw William and Mary trying to defend the point, they were holding the high ground, but they didn't make the commitment into jumping first. In the meantime, DeepL University, when they were attacking, the first thing that they did was try to get the high ground and push everyone away. So that's why it was a little bit more effective, and they had those ultimates, they had that momentum. We saw that mistake at the end from William and Mary. Right when they were losing that first point, they decided to commit that duplicate, so they didn't have into the second point. And all those things that keep accumulating that make it easier for DeepL University to take Volskaya. And this is yet another situation where the map is very dependent on the performance of the teams. And because of that, DeepL University, I mean, if you think about it, they did win the first control map, and now they're winning the next, which is an assault map. So very similar style of maps, we can tell.
Yeah, very much so. And now it looks like we will be heading on to our next map, Junkertown and Escort, which means there will, at the very most likely, be a winner. You can't get those rare moments where nobody moves the card at all at reaching a checkpoint, and then it's a draw. And that's very frustrating, but not likely to happen, as Junkertown tends to be a little bit more towards one team winning.
Seems like Junkertown is one of the maps I haven't seen in so long. It just came back into competitive, but it was gone for like a month, if not more. Yeah. So not a lot of opportunities for them to practice it as much in ranked as well. But if they want to play it in scrims, and we know this map for being very well known for snipers, if they want to bring them up, and we already saw a little bit of them. It was actually really, really good to see, guys, to see Unique popping off on these Widowmakers. They might be the possibility for them to bring them again.
Yeah, and one thing I don't think we'll be seeing is a whole lot of Echo, at least for that first point coming through, with the double snipers being so potent.
Yeah, it just seems like it's going to be better for them to play that Widowmaker and the hand, so that's going to benefit them more. Even if they also want to go Zenyatta to also have those flanks, those positioning as well, that's definitely something that they can go for. Oh, a little bit risky, but it's a risk that if you're confident on your gameplay as Zenyatta, then you can try to do. That's exactly what DeepL University on the defense is going to do.
Yeah, they're going to be lacking a little bit in the heavy healing department. However, we'll see if that's even going to be necessary as the snipers come out and can just absolutely smack down an opponent with one strike. Now, as we see DePaul holding their positions, we see that Winston tucked away into the shack, ready to dive anybody, but we have to be very careful as DePaul on this Roadhog can definitely put the hurt onto those large hitbox Winstons.
Ooh, and those Widowmakers still trying to get those kills. Those rotations are going to be so important for everyone else, for those healers as well, to try to stay alive. If they're able to get that positioning in the back lane, then that's how they get kills, and in the meantime, the Hanzo doing the same as well.
Now, UniQ almost taking a very rough edge onto Icarus, rough for Icarus, that is going to be looking to get the shots in, and Max going to be trying to dislodge this Widowmaker, but she does eventually get the kill before being taken down all on her own, and now there's the Zenyatta who's looking to be the primary focus of Max. Now, he's going to be rolling away to the safety of a health kit now as William and Mary to perhaps regroup and go for another attempt.
They haven't lost the first checkpoint just quite yet, but the Zenyatta wins the fight, actually.
Yeah, a great opportunity there as just the damage too high onto Max. Now the Storm Arrows from Nuklama going to be putting a lot of hurt down. putting a lot of the aggression in. Speaking of aggression, we're seeing these aggressive dragons come out, separating the Brig, separating the Zarya, giving their team a little bit of space towards Cart. If everybody can see the Tracer up on high, but Depal going to be allowing Prime to walk away free, unscathed, and Nuclear might be taking a little bit of a haircut, but not too bad. Not as bad as Unique anyway.
And those Hansers are the ones that have the biggest potential to get those kills, but the payload hasn't moved just quite yet for this side of William and Mary. They're really struggling. They depend on those snipers to try to push in, to try to create the space that they need, and it hasn't quite happened. They have to pass this corner before being able to do anything else.
We'll see if they can achieve that. That Winston dangerously low. Chronos going to be taken down eventually with a couple of shots from Gavant. Now we're seeing the Infrasights come in from Icarus, making the snipers of William and Mary have a little bit of a tougher job here. You don't want to peek into a Widow unless you know you can land the shot. Pile Driver coming in from Max, gets stunned out, gets put on with the Discord Orb. It's going to make it very difficult to play this Wrecking Ball, should mention. And it looks like both Brigs going to be going down. DePaul University managing to get the respawns back in, managing to fight back. Prime even coming back on a win on a Tracer.
DePaul University once again showing us how good of a defense they have, and this is not something that is easy, especially on this map, but they're doing a really good job. Ultimate economy that's going to benefit them. They have the rally to initiate and expite if they want to stay alive, but Willing Mary also has it if they want to counter it directly. The minefield is able to create the space for the side of William Mary, another possibility they can bring, but there's only 1 minute remaining, and the defense is making it so much harder for William Mary.
We'll see if the minefield can be as impactful, given that the snipers are playing so far away. The primal from Chronos means that they can just surf that whole hog all the way out to the cliffside and walk right back in uncontested. It's going to be the Tracer taken down. The Dragon's pushed very far forward because of the primal rage. Chronos trying to bully this Hanzo, however, the teammates trying to keep them alive. A lot of damage coming in, but Chronos able to walk away safe as well. A lot of good healing coming in from both these teams. Both snipers going to be finding some sort of benefit now. With both teeth pulled of DePaul, it's going to be up to William and Mary just to walk it in, not take too much threat from Icarus.
Finally, the payload is able to move a little bit more. Willing Mary, they might be able to take this point, but it's not over quite yet. The Widowmaker and the Zenyatta are here to fight to try to get a few more picks. It's not easy though.
Now Nuclear continuing to try to contest Icarus, making sure that they can't focus their efforts onto Cart, and it will buy them that first point, although it looked like William and Mary were really fighting for that one.
Yeah, they do have to regroup now, though. They don't want to lose the second checkpoint. They wasted a lot of time on the first point, so that's a really good sign. People, though, Icarus has been winning those 1v1s against Unique.
Yeah, and it might not be a great sign, but fortunately we'll be switching towards a less sniper-friendly. Fortunate if you're a fan of William and of Mary. As now we see Nuclear trying to hold this high ground, contest towards those snipers, takes a body shot for their efforts, and Icarus might be chuckling that one off as now they look to continue with this effort.
And a headshot there, but doesn't quite take anyone down. Willing and Mary are struggling to push in. Those snipers at the end of the day are really good at creating space, and that's exactly what they're doing. Willing and Mary, though, those tanks creating the space now, and that's exactly what they're doing. Both of the DPS get taken out from DePaul University, and this is when they push back.
Now this is a great opportunity for William and Mary if they can keep the pressure on. It looks like DePaul kind of caught in a rotation that they don't know how to handle. Pawn Hog hooking another, and with that, Nuclear just kind of caught in the mix, trying to get as much damage onto their card as possible. Eventually makes a pincushion out of Crode's nose. And now Nuclear has these dragons, can really put the hurt on anybody who tries to come through those tunnels to touch.
Willing and Mary should be getting the second checkpoint as well quite easily with a single fight. It seems like the ultimate economy, and now also though does connect with the break. Big opportunity now for DePaul.
And so we see the Transcendence going to be coming on a line from Tangerine, just trying to hold point as much as possible, but can't clear the mines out fast enough. Tracer taken down, Break taken down, and now with this, William and Mary looking very good on the second point, significantly better than they did on first anyway. The cart does make it 2 minutes now to get to last.
Very complicated map to complete, and now we're seeing it happen. DePaul University, they had the right defense at the beginning, but now only a single fight took them down for the second check part of the map. William and Mary, they're playing this very well with the ultimate economy as well. They just have to make sure they have the momentum going.
And we see this high ground being contested, the fidget spinner, as I like to call it. It's going to be the Hanzo who eventually has to back off. Both tanks on that high ground is not something the Hanzo wants to mess with. Max for the win. Gonna be looking to contest. Wraps around, goes onto the high ground for the soldier. Looks to knock him around. It does just that. Waits for the beacon to dissipate. Max, however, taking the walloping, using that adaptive shield to just try to get out. Does survive by the skin of their teeth. Devont as well going to be taking a little bit of a breather, and now it looks like there's going to be 2 Roadhogs on the field for William and Mary. The Dragon's coming out, though. We've seen this before. Takes down only 2 this time, but that's going to be enough for DePaul.
We've definitely seen that one before. A little bit more control that DePaul University is finally able to get thanks to that combination that happened once again. They still have the opportunity to use that rally, and the advisors have still opportunities to use that combination. Even if they want to use amplification matrix along with advisor, that's a big opportunity for them to still control space. So only 1 minute remaining as well. So William and Mary say they have to attack now or they won't have enough time.
Yeah, and Prime with this tac visor can be absolutely crippling onto Unique. They're not even going to need the tac visor for Unique. Going to be saved all for the back lines of William and Mary. And now, as Prime gets booped off, he just has a clear shot towards those softer targets. It looks like William and Mary, however, striking back with a few soft targets of their own. Prime getting hooked out, but doesn't take the damage. In fact, an amplification matrix coming right in front of them, but Nuklama going to be the one finding the kill through it instead.
And no one from the side of William and Mary can peek this corner in 30 seconds remaining now. Is the rally that's going to be the last opportunity along with the minefield? William and Mary don't have that many opportunities, but this is a good initiation though, that first pick.
And Nuklama barely able to hop away with their life. Kronos has to take a breather, now no longer has that rapid healing and damage resistance that Hog can so greatly benefit from. Cart gonna be moving a little bit. This is good news for William and Mary, but will be even better news if they can continue it all the way to 3rd. It's gonna be hard as they have to now deal with a rally coming in from Obscure, but TF2 has one in pocket as well to try to contest with here. Simply Zeph popping that bubble right onto the Roadhog and a grab, locking everybody down. We've seen this number before, Dryad. Make it 3 kills off the back end, 4 with the final kill from the Dragons. And William and Mary claiming a few kills, but not quite enough.
This is overtime, and the payloads are going to move a little bit more, but the respawn advantage is going to be in benefit DePaul University. They did use that combination again, so they don't have the ultimate to happen now.
Yeah, somebody has to get on the cart. Nobody does. Unique flies away. The Ana backs up, takes a little bit too much laser, and because of that, William and Mary not able to deliver the 3rd.
That was very close. They just went away from the payload for 1 second, and that was enough because of that overtime. It was a really good attack, though, but the defense for DePaul University seems to be the strongest. Now the biggest question mark is, can their attack be as effective? And they had really good moments if they can use, once again, that... I'm so distracted by that.
They look kind of like Twizzlers.
What is that? I don't even know what that is.
It's like the motor for the fidget spinner.
But it's still moving, so it's not broken.
I mean, the fidget spinner's moving, so at least something the jumper town works. We'll claim a victory there.
Okay, well, anyways, as I was saying, yeah, the attacking for DePaul University is going to be the most important thing to see here, because they're able to hold their defense just because of the ultimate economy and how good they are at controlling this space that they have. But when you're attacking, you're the one that has to push the space, and they've done it before, but on this map, it might be the hardest one to do this in.
And might definitely be something to contest with here as well. DePaul University looking very strong on this first point. William and Mary gonna have to try their best to get their snipers up to scratches. They just did not quite have it the first time around.
Stop the payload.
Same compositions, nothing new that we haven't seen before, at least, and because of that, DePaul University is the one that's going to create space. First pick, though, Unique could get taken down.
Yeah, a great opening there for DePaul. No res, again, available. Prime gonna be pestered by Max for the win. I'm not sure I like this Wrecking Ball, but we'll see if it pays off for them on this defense. Pile Driver comes in, trying to put the hurt down. Not gonna quite be able to have it. Kronos does take a little bit of an anti-nade, not able to get healed up, but not in any direct threat either. Oh, now it's Unique looking to claim back a couple kills onto Prime, and DePaul gonna be suffering here on this attack, but Max getting a bit too aggressive with the Pile Driver, gets stunned, gets discorded, gets just absolutely demolished.
I totally agree with you. I'm not the biggest fan to see that Wrecking Ball here. You don't have a lot of protection, especially for the Ana, so that means that the Brick is going to be peeling for the support all the time. And the minute that one of them gets taken down, it is most likely that the other one is going to do the same. DePaul University now looking for the second push.
We'll see if they'll get it. It's going to be the hook going online right onto the Zarya, but it's not going to be enough to take the Zarya down in one shot. TF2 is better. Barely keeps that shield up to mitigate most of the damage. Walks away with a sliver of health. Now DePaul trying their best. The hook comes through. Kronos gets taken down, and things are looking still very good for William and Mary, despite Unique getting taken down with a headshot from Prime. Prime can be the better Widowmaker, but DePaul does not have the front line to keep moving the cart.
And now it seems like William Mary also does have a really good defense. That's exactly what it's showing us. It might be a little bit different with the Wrecking Ball and with the Roadhog, but still just as effective. It has to be another initiation here from DePaul University because time is running out.
And certainly getting a little bit on the slim side here. We see that Widow Mine go out, spotting out Max for the win. We're going to know where he is and then immediately try to pivot focus onto him. But Prime gets taken down from DePaul. That's going to force out a little bit of a longer respawn.
And I really wonder how this is going to happen. It seems like DePaul University is just waiting a few seconds before the engagement. They have to get that first pick to have that momentum going on for them.
Excellent response there from DePaul. The Hanzo gets hooked and the whip shot comes through to give them a little bit more time. Eventually taken down by Nuklama and now William and Mary in a very favorable position. Zeph has that grab on a line. Keep eyes out, as we know we love seeing the combo come through. Kronos almost gets pulled off the map, but has that hop ready from the Primal Rage. Now looking to turn their focus onto the Widowmaker, who can't quite make their way out of the situation. Gonna be going for that Mega, but Kronos has the hop ready to stomp them into the ground. Minute comes out as the grab does in similar fashion.
Yeah, definitely not gonna let them happen. And now everyone trying to touch from the side of William Mayer, but it might be just a little bit too late. This first checkpoint will be going for DePaul University. 3 minutes, 30 seconds to get second. And they do have the right momentum. They did use quite a lot of ultimates though.
Certainly, DePaul now going to be stuttering to build back just a few of them. William and Mary trading those dragons in. Seem to do them a little bit of good. Icarus playing a little bit of that arm's length. Doesn't land the shots they absolutely wanted it there. Now we see the Infrasights coming in from Unique. Gives William and Mary a little bit of the positioning advantage there, or at least the information advantage. As Prime drops back, has to wait. Gets the grappling hook back up onto the high ground. Now, as we see Max for the win, just doing a little bit of a drive-by, a roll-by, if you prefer, getting the damage knocked, a little bit of displacement, as not a whole lot of firm engagements coming from these teams, Dryad.
They're playing this very carefully, depending on the snipers to have the first engagement to get those first picks, and it happened to both of them.
It certainly did. The Transcendent's going to be coming out from DePaul. A dangerous proposition, given that there's now an opening for a few more ults to come online. William and Mary taking it down. That Brig means that AoE healing not going to be available for DePaul as well. The Zarya taken down certainly does not help their case. Kronos going to be hopping onto the backline. An excellent choice of target prioritization there. The anti-nade, however, means that they can't receive any healing. No bailouts for that monkey. As now we look ahead, and so far DePaul still holding their own.
So another opportunity for the defense though, and for William and Mary, they're going to play this a little bit more aggressive, and 2 minutes remaining. There's still a lot of time. DePaul are going to initiate with the Infrasight, just winning a few and forcing everyone to wait a few extra seconds for William and Mary.
An excellent opening that can be possible here from Max delivering on the mines. It doesn't stop the cart from moving, however. Therefore, it's going to be DePaul getting a much better time bank as we look towards this third.
This is a very similar situation to what we saw in Blizzard World. Now they just have to get almost to the checkpoint, to the third checkpoint, but not quite yet. In the Ultimate Economy, definitely benefiting DePaul University here. They can initiate once again with the rally if they want to, with those dragons as well. They don't have the Graviton Surge to try to use it with, but they still have enough to create the space and to at least push everyone from William Mary off the high ground. What a good headshot.
Yeah, a very good start coming in from Icarus. Nuklama taking it down means that that's just one line of a long sight that now William and Mary not able to play with. And this Echo stuck in a very uncomfortable area. Indoor Echo might not be the best option there. Kronos getting swatted away from the high ground, not able to dive onto the onto the Brig as they would like, but doesn't matter. Icarus still there with the logs coming in from Hanzo, ready to throw in the shots. Hot and heavy, serving them up like pizzas, as now DePaul looks to continue moving the cart and somebody has to touch.
This is a very tough situation now for the side of the defense. They do have the respawn advantage, but that might not be enough. The Echo trying to come back, trying to get a few pigs of the sticky bombs, and it doesn't seem like it's there just yet.
Yeah, and the dragon sailing right in front of the payload, not able to really get a whole lot of damage done, but does prevent William and Mary from getting too close, getting too nestled and comfortable with the payload. It's now the Primal coming in from Chronos, which already going to be causing a bit of a disruption, throwing this on our run like a hacky sack, able to eventually get the kill with the Primal. The High Noon just to secure the point, and with that, it looks like it is going to go to DePaul as they ferry that point across the box.
DePaul University finally getting that last point that they needed. 3-1. William and Mary, though, definitely did put up a fight, especially from the beginning. There was a lot of action going on, everyone just playing as aggressive as they could, and that's exactly the Overwatch that we like to see.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you on that one, Dryad. A competitive Overwatch is an Overwatch I'm fond of, and you know, William and Mary, I think that if we see a different map pool, maybe we see a different result from these two teams, because they definitely looked very map-focused, like map-specific teams.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what was benefiting DePaul, is that they started with a defense and they were able to hold it. Then it had the momentum going to when they had the opportunity to attack. They just knew they didn't even have to get the entire thing, and it was an easy win for them. And well, it wasn't as easy as they wanted to, but at least they were able to get those 3 points. William Mary only able to get a 1, but if we saw the entire match, it seems like it was so much closer.
It definitely felt that way most of the time. I don't think we saw, too much of a blowout either way. Volskaya, probably the best example we have of it being a little bit more unbalanced in one direction rather than the other. But unfortunately, we'll only be seeing 4 maps with this matchup between William and Mary and DePaul University, as it does go 3-1 in favor of DePaul. However, folks, that definitely does not mean we are done with these matches. We will be having another one here in just a little bit, so make sure you stay tuned, because I'm not going to miss it. Hello and welcome back, folks. After a thrilling game between William and Mary and DePaul University, we are now looking to head to something with, again, another very close score spread. We're looking at Rider University versus St. Peter's. Rider at 6-2, St. Peter's at 5-2. This is a day of close games for us, Dryad.
Yeah, this seems like it's going to be the same case for the last match of the day. Rider University against St. Peter University. And, I mean, we already saw a little bit of the meta the teams are deciding to run with here in EGF. But it also brings the possibility of something else. Both of these two teams, even though they have a very similar score, they haven't faced each other just yet. So that means they can bring the possibility of playing to their strengths if they want to try to play something else other than the double bubble that we've seen so much. Then definitely bring it on and see if that's going to be the win condition.
Yeah, if we do see that double bubble come through, I think that if we take anything from the last game we just saw, Winston diving, timings, and the team cohesion beyond those, definitely going to be something to keep valuable information-wise in your pocket.
Yeah, and the Winston thing is, it seems like it's a key definitely on this meta. If you're playing more of a standard Sigma breaking ball that we've seen so much in other tournaments, or when we've seen even players in ranked, it gets a little bit harder to get any value out of Winston just because you get taken down instantly. But now, when both teams decide to play a very similar composition where you can get away with Winston, and with your bubble staying alive for a little bit longer, then that's when you get the most value. And it really just depends on having the proper engagement, having that proper dive, and obviously having that communication with your team that the DPS are going to be able to capitalize out of it.
Yeah, absolutely, and kind of with the converse of that, with the I guess antithesis of that, you also have to be able to defend against those dives, right? Are you running a brig? Are you going to be able to use the whip shot to get that Winston moved away? Are you able to time it, with avoiding the bubble, avoiding the Zarya projected barrier? A lot of things to kind of consider here as we do look ahead. However, we are about to be heading into our first match here. It will once again be Ilios, going to be the same rotation of maps as we saw last time.
Yeah, same rotation of maps, so that means we can already expect to see Ilios, and then Blizzard War especially. But Ilios, I think, to start it off, is always interesting to see, once again, because of the very, very different things you can play. We saw a little bit of those snipers coming through for last match, the Widowmaker getting a few kills, but then you can also play more of the dive and then bring even the Tracer, the Echo that has been so strong so far. So, yeah, so many possibilities until teams kind of settle into what they feel most comfortable with.
Yeah, of course, settling in going to be very important here. New semester, I'll say, new opportunity for these players to make some names for themselves. So we're going to be wanting to start off strong here as we tune in with Rider University heading right out the gates, or excuse me, St. Peter's University heading right out the gates, especially with that wrecking ball. Nacho's looking to be serving up a hot dish of pain. As we see the engagement taking place on this left side near the open Mega, see them, both teams trying to mitigate this damage. Gallantry getting taken down with a nice headshot from Blob. The advantage already going over to St. Peter's. They're looking like they have that point presence as well, so not a lot of condolences coming through from a Rider. The Wrecking Ball looking to cause a huge disruption, clean up that Widowmaker. Excellent play so far from St. Peter's.
First time that we see Sigma today, and already getting a lot of value out of it. St. Peter University is the one that's going to take control of the point first, and they are pushing forward. They are creating as much space as possible as they can. Rider University now, they have to have another opportunity in there. Running that dive composition, which doesn't feel like it's going to be ideal against the Sigma.
They're running the dive tanks, but double snipers, so not a whole lot to keep up with those tanks. Blob, however, taking advantage of the fact Nifty being able to be taken down. Both supports now taking down Blob. Looking to put on a little bit of a clinic here, but Sagi says not interested, shuts them down, and now looking to turn things around with a quick res. Things not going so well for a Rider as they need to regroup and try again.
Yeah, they definitely have to regroup as soon as possible, just because of how much space St. Peter University is creating. That Posum doesn't really get the kill rigs, actually gets taken down, but gets still another opportunity. And in the meantime, there hasn't been a proper engagement so far from Rider University. Now, Soggy seems like he wants to play the Genji.
Nachos will be dropping those mines rather far ahead after the dive is already coming through, making it toward Gallantry and Ranger in a very uncomfortable position. Minmin is going to be the only member on point, sectioned off by the D.Va. An excellent dive. Manages to come through from Rider, but it is at the cost of the life of D.Va. Going to be booped away, eventually taken down, and St. Peter's looking very good here. It's going to be Rider University really struggling to find any advantage and manage to hold it for an extended period of time.
And even though I do like seeing Red University trying to make a few changes, I don't think Genji is going to be as effective. And St. Peter University, they're just on a roll. They haven't even let them properly engage, and they're just taking them down over and over again. St. Peter University is so good. The ultimate economy is going to be ready as well. Passing that 80%, they just need one more fight, and that's going to be enough.
And it's going to be an even rougher fight for the side of a Ryder as this Gravitic Flux going to be online, able to hold everybody down. Less than 10% now online for Ryder University. Somebody has to touch, somebody has to make it there. Soggy dangerously low, able to get stopped in their tracks by Blob now. It's going to be the Valkyrie coming through, trying to keep everybody alive so they can make it to point, but the damage may have already been done. The Wrecking Ball Mine's going to be preventing that Hunt from staying around for too long. Now, this is the Valkyrie from Min Min. Again, utilizing those ultimates to make sure the point as clear as possible. Rez not able to catch anybody with the Gravitic Flux, but doesn't quite matter as St. Peter's heads in the lead here in terms of kills. Overtime going to slowly start ticking down, Dryad.
Yeah, there's nothing that Red University can do now. They were just trying to touch the point, but the majority of kills are definitely going for the side of St. Peter's. The Dragons do take down Riggs, but the rest is there once again to keep their teammates alive for just a few extra seconds, just to get to the 100%. And that was a complete stomp. St. Peter University doing so good on this map.
Yeah, and the question now that we're going to start looking to is, was that because of the proficiency of these hit scan players? As we look towards the well, they're not going to be as relevant here, and we might see a little bit of a dynamic change up.
It's just Ryder University didn't seem to really know how to properly engage. They were playing a little bit of a different compositions, and we never saw the blade coming through. They didn't even have the Ana to try to use the nano blade, which definitely would be the winning condition that they need. But St. Peter University, they were just pushing forward, and they were intimidated the entirety of the backline for Ryder University. No one was able to push forward without getting taken down. So now I do want to see a change from Ryder University.
And a change in the tank lines, a little bit of what we're going to be seeing. We're seeing Ranger on that Reinhardt. Has to be very careful as the Reinhardt can still get a little bit manipulated without too much mobility to get himself out of trouble. Ryder University already taking a little bit of early damage. Blob with that Echo able to just throw in those shots, those try shots, and build up a little bit of ult charge as they will. Phoenix now looking to tuck in with that Tracer as well, just scouting out whatever they can. St. Peter's University already has a good presence on point.
Yeah, but they need to get those extra picks to guarantee that they're able to take control of the point, and that's exactly what St. Peter University is going to do. Finally, some percentage that they're able to get, but the fight is not over. The Genji trying to stay alive by any cost.
And it looks like that Wrecking Ball not going to be taken down, dangerously low, but Soggy not quite able to close those kills. Phoenix takes down one, winning the Tracer duel, but it's not quite enough, Ryan.
And slowly getting that percentage from the Peter University. The Pulse Bomb doesn't really connect. Phoenix does get taken down. And in the meantime, at least, St. Peter University is going to be benefited here. They're playing once again very aggressive. A little bit of a different composition, but still working out for them.
And we see this Wrecking Ball just rolling around, causing a lot of havoc. Those mines coming out means that none shall pass from the side of Ryder University, at least not without taking quite a bit of damage. Blob going to be going. The duplicate of Moira gets stunned out, eventually burned down, but the Coalescence already did its work. Now we look for another Pulse Mine going out. Doesn't seem to connect, but doesn't get eaten by Gallantry. Ryder University again on the backup.
St. Peter University is playing so aggressive here. Riggs getting a few kills, gets 3 at the end, and that's going to guarantee more control of the point. Ryder University still haven't really figured out what to do. The Coalescence could have been the initiation tool, but now everyone gets taken down.
That will just be pure cleanup coming through from St. Peter's. I like Riggs playing around these mines, making sure that any shots won't land onto the head, just on the mine.
Yeah, that's a really good strategy, actually. Something that you're able to pull off in the moment as Tracer. And now, just because of that, just because they're able to stay alive, that's going to guarantee there's going to be one last fight unless Ryder University is able to take a point back, but it doesn't seem very likely now.
It certainly doesn't seem that way. St. Peter's University already has that Lucio, just keeping eyes out in case anybody does touch. Looking for some last-minute environmental kills. Ricardo just cruising around, actually, not even too concerned about this team fight. Seem to have a lot of faith in their team, and St. Peter's so far looking pretty even despite that Lucio not being in effect. The Whole Hog going to be coming out from Rez, looking to blast away that Sigma, eventually taken down by Soggy. Ryder University has a good opportunity here if they can just continue with this momentum. Phoenix on this Reaper looks to just tuck in as heavy as they can with those Hellfire shotguns, seeing if they can make anything happen. A nice dip into the well is going to be the reward. 4 res after getting brought back to life.
That's definitely not what they were expecting, but now still the 99% and Blob getting a few extra kills to guarantee that this is going to be 100-0.
Oh no! Ranger
Okay.
getting thrown into the well. Nobody able to touch from Rider University, and St. Peter's throwing down the gauntlets and making this look like a very strong match for them.
They had control of every single fight all the time. Even when a few picks went for the side of Rider University, it never seemed like it was enough for them. They didn't really regroup, and that's my main concern from them coming for the next maps that we're going to see, is that they really need to regroup and to go together. They were going one by one. They had a few ultimates that they could have used together, but it was a little bit too late, and by the time that they were finally able to regroup is on that 80%. Obviously, everyone from Superior University was going to play more aggressive, especially with that Wrecking Ball. There was nothing else they could have done, so now I do want to see them working together right at the University. It might have been maybe a team that hasn't been working together as match, but they definitely need to if they want to win.
Yeah, the question for me, Dryad, becomes at what point do you say, oh, this is a team cohesion issue, this is just a new player issue, or perhaps let's say a vacation issue where you're coming off of, a pretty decent break. It's been, I'd say, what, about 2 months since we last had a good collegiate match here at EGF. So you might be a little bit cold off that. You might not be too used to it, especially if your team's not having those scrims in the interim. It's definitely something Rider University is going to have to recover from very quickly.
Yeah, and it plays a big part into how teams are going to perform. And we saw before when we were interviewing players, and they were talking about how they definitely were practicing a lot. And you can really tell those teams that have the biggest synergy are the ones that are pushing forward, working together, getting those kills. And you can tell those that maybe they need that extra work on the synergy part by having more scrims. So that might be one of the situations. Maybe not. Maybe it was something in the map that wasn't really benefiting Rider University. They still have the possibility to bring it back. There's only 1 point that's going for St. Peter University.
Absolutely, and it is, of course, that control map, which can be a little bit of that outlier, a little bit more of the great equalizer where it comes to just a little bit more of that mechanical skill. So Rider University does have the opportunity here to regroup themselves, get focused back in, and look ahead.
And if they even want to play that composition that we saw for Rider University, I didn't even think it was a bad decision, because they could have created the space that they needed with the dive and even with the Widowmaker that they wanted to play. But now the biggest question is, how are they going to play more aggressive than the enemy team? And this is why dive isn't as effective now as it was before, is because there are other heroes that are going to counter them and going to be more aggressive. So there's a lot of preparation that you can have for dive. It's not the ideal pick, but if they want to commit to it, then they have to be the ones having those engagements happening first.
And boy, do I love a good aggressive dive there, Dryad. I know that we saw, I want to say dive in the context of the double bubble, but it's not the traditional dive composition. Normally you see something like a Diva, a Wrecking Ball, all kind of jumping onto that high ground, really putting that force up there. But we could definitely see it as we look towards Blizzard World being our next map.
And for Blizzard World, I think the Winston is going to play a very important part in the first part and the second part of the map, where you can get those high grounds, jumping into the high ground and trying to push forward and help your team when you get the primary rage. Has benefited every single team that we've seen so far, and expect any of the teams to be benefited by it again. And even if they want to play something else, because we did see a little bit of that Wrecking Ball coming through, is the same idea that you play as a main tank, just making sure that you're able to create the space, whether that is pushing everyone away or pushing everyone closer to you, whatever it is. If you're playing Wrecking Ball, then you just want to be a distraction in the backline, and in the meantime, the Tracer, that Echo can be putting that extra damage.
Yeah, and this is something that you mentioned, Wrecking Ball. I want to kind of put this in comparison to our last match here, Dryad. William and Marion DePaul, it seemed like the Wrecking Balls were getting caught out a lot more. They were getting, stunned. They were getting discorded and burned down, if not to death, at least to a very tolerable degree. And that's not something we're seeing Rider University really capitalize upon towards St. Peter's. It looks like they're just getting caught out by these Wrecking Balls. How do you kind of ensure that you can lock them down a little bit better?
Yeah, it's going to be... There's different ways they can handle this situation. Maybe trying to go for a McCree, a Sigma, even to try to get that stun into the Wrecking Ball, trying to take them out fast. Another alternative that a lot of players try to go with is maybe going with Zenyatta, and if you have the Discord Orb on the Wrecking Ball, is going to be a little bit more risky for the Wrecking Ball to have those dives into the backline to be that much of a distraction, because you don't have as much health, or you're going to get taken out faster. So there is those possibilities that I would love to see from the side of Rider University, because yeah, like you mentioned, it was actually quite impressive to see the space that the Wrecking Ball was creating and how much they were letting him do this.
Yeah, it's almost as much on the responsibility of the team giving up the space as it is on the Wrecking Ball for just rolling through. We'll see if that changes up as we do take a quick look towards Blizzard World. At least I know the teams are trying to get loaded in. There we go. We're going to be tuning in with the Pylon Terrace. They're just spinning away.
Yeah, it's really, really fun map to see every single time, and there's so many different things that you can highlight on this map, especially when we talk about the heroes or both of the teams. And when you're on the defense, you really like seeing maybe a shield for sure, even if you decide to go with what's currently meta, or was meta at least a month ago with the Sigma and the Wrecking Ball. You're not going to have as much protection for the defense. It's always really good to have those rotations as well, that rotation. So any of those heroes that can give you that mobility as well are going to be beneficial. In the meantime, we do see, seems like the Genji is going to come out now.
Yeah, the Genji perhaps from that defense going to allow for a little bit more of a long distance poke coming through, but no Nana once again.
5, 4,
The Genji, I really want to see how it's going to play it out, because there are so many possibilities to get countered and taken down immediately. That McCree going to be the #1 enemy that St. Peter University's Genji has to face very early on. And I do like seeing this in Yara though for Rider University. Really good idea to try to push forward, especially when you have a Roadhog on the field.
A little bit weaker in the shield department for St. Peter's, as that Sigma shield not going to be as solid as Gallantry's, but doesn't do you much when Gallantry's breaks like paper either way. Immediately trying to shield up, keep the team alive for the time being, and now it looks like Rider University in a little bit of a tough spot. They don't quite know what angle they want to take. They need to let their cooldowns and resources regroup, but in the meantime, Starrick is going to be taken down with a nice headshot from Blob. This hit scan prowess still coming through from St. Peter's, looking very good on it, and Ryder just getting picked apart.
Seems like it's been forever since I saw that Ryan Starry being played, and we might be seeing why. It's just so much harder to get value out of the current meta and the current state of Overwatch. St. Peter University able to hold the defense for a little bit longer, getting those headshots and those off angles that were benefiting them so much. They want to keep this momentum going as well, and that extra damage as well. And they're going to have that blaze soon as well, so many opportunities for them to kill holding here.
And St. Peter's already has Bob online as well. That Dragon Blade, the Dragon Blade and Bob both going out, but the Transcendence comes in. Might save from both ultimates at the same time. Perhaps not great bookkeeping in the terms of St. Peter's. It's going to be Riggs basically left out to dry, trying to find something, but it's going to be Blob taking down a majority of the opposing team. And with this, St. Peter's manages to hold despite the ult's not getting too much.
Yeah, even when the Genji doesn't get any value out of the ultimate, they still have a lot of abilities to work with. If they want to initiate with the Flux or the Valkyrie, that's definitely a possibility for St. Peter University. Ryder, again, they're doing a little bit better at those initiations, but they haven't committed to them till the end, and that's exactly what we want to see. A big change here. And now, this is the meta that we've seen so far, that Winston, a double bubble coming through for Ryder.
And they're just going to have to eat these next couple of fights as the ultimates come in from St. Peter's. Nacho's able to just throw in the Gravitic Flux, take down the Zenyatta early on. It's now just going to be a question of can Ryder get any more ults or build up some ults of their own.
St. Peter feeling very, very aggressive. They passed the choke, and they are trying to get a few extra kills before pushing back. Somehow, though, they're able to stay alive, and they haven't even used all the ultimates that they have.
Yeah, this is a definite strong confidence factor coming in from St. Peter's as the last couple of kills coming through. Blob just going on an absolute tear right now. You have to be careful of this Ashe.
Blob is just getting anyone who's in a back positioning, Blob is going to take down immediately. Blob is going to be ready as well to use at any point. If for some reason Rider University is able to touch a point, Blob is going to delay that a little bit longer. So an ideal situation, especially only 1 minute remaining.
Yeah, Blob's Bob going to be going out right onto the field. Min looking to hold their own. Phoenix brings out the Deadeye, but leaves themselves a sitting target for Blob, as now the kills still going in favor of St. Peter's. One does manage to go out, but it's only in the form of Bob. So with that, Ryder still very much so struggling. Riggs pulling out the blade, gets locked down, but eventually going to be able to get away. The Transcendence coming out very late from St. Peter's, but it will keep them alive.
There is nothing that Red University was able to do. They just use every single ultimate ability. Only 20 seconds remaining. They are lucky if they're even able to touch the point here because of how close St. Peter University is trying to hold.
And it looks like Blob just a little bit of a mastermind here, trying to keep this damage up as well. Soggy not looking to be outdone. Big damage coming through onto the Wrecking Ball, not going to be able to touch. Nobody will, in fact, and she trying his best.
Yeah, it was really close, but not quite enough. St. Peter University really having that potential to full hold, and now they only need one tick. That's all that they're gonna need to take control and to win this map. We're not going to be seeing the street phase of Blizzard World, it seems like.
Absolutely, that's no streets phase for Blizzard World, no Diablo Castle, no Lich King's Crypt this time around, but that's all right. I like the nice, bright, bubbly, I guess, little Flight of the Eagles, Flight of Duskwood, if you prefer to Duskwood, rather. I still have a battle with books sometimes.
You know, this is my favorite part of the map. This one, so yeah, I'm not complaining. I like this.
I certainly have to agree, and what I'm liking right now is perhaps the Bastion coming out. If we actually see it, it shows that Rider University just trying to buckle down.
Oh, they're totally bringing it out.
Oh,
It's going to be the Bastion, it's going to be the Genji, and then the double shield with the Orisa and with the Reinhardt.
Yeah,
I don't know if this is going to... So they do have interesting heroes to hold this high ground, but the minute that they have to move, they have no speed at all.
Yeah, very interesting. Normally when we see bunker compositions like this, sometimes you see the Mercy included there, or like a Mei, something to kind of combo with the Bastion, but I don't know if Phoenix on this Genji is going to do it. As, however, we look ahead, it's going to be St. Peter's looking to line up and get going here. The question is, will they catch out this Bastion in time before too many of their members are picked apart? Riggs immediately punished for that one. That's going to be a tough spot. St. Peter's now has a little bit of the recon information that they need, but they can only do so much as this Bastion just looks to absolutely clobber their line.
The defense is working out, at least, so... Good strategy from Center Rider University, at least for now, but this is something that St. Peter University now is predicting because of that, changing a little bit of the composition. Now, we'll be playing the Roadhog, we'll be playing that Wrecking Ball. The minute that they're able to move this Bastion, that's the minute that Rider University won't be able to do absolutely anything else.
And they're in a position where they can't really get pile-driven by Nacho, so a little bit of smart play there, but an absolutely big collapse coming in from St. Peter's. Not enough to mitigate just the raw damage coming through from just the massive Bastion on point. Has tank configuration. May have wanted to save that, looking to sink some shots onto the Mercy. Lands a little bit of splash damage. So close, it eventually sinks them. And with that, it's going to be a few members walking away from St. Peter's.
Yeah, they did not even need to save that ultimate. You just want to leave a statement.
Oh, no.
St. Peter University, what are you going to do now? They're getting killed by Bastion with a double shield. How are they going to pass this? That's actually a pretty good strategy. There isn't as much space for them to work with for the attackers.
There is response from St. Peter's, though. All Nachos has to do is try to build up those mines. It's such a confined area that they will absolutely destroy everybody camping up in it. Now, as we look ahead, Rider University might have to be very conscious of this, but already the damage coming through going to be very huge. They're not even needing the mines. Dropping them for good measure, though. It never hurts, especially as the kills continue to come through. Sellout Squad going to be the only one falling for St. Peter's. The celebratory blade as the first tick is achieved. St. Peter's taking a victory.
Solid effort from Rider University. I actually appreciate seeing that Bastion. That's a really good strategy. It seems like I'm gonna try it out.
Oh yeah, I'll try it out on the ladder, and everybody will love me for it.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong from that?
Well, as we see Rider University trying their best to clutch at straws there, but there's only so much you can do. St. Peter's just got so aggressive on their defense.
It was really good, and now this is just a consistency that we've seen from St. Peter University, just being very aggressive and getting value out of it every single time. Rider, they actually had the right idea. They wanted to hold a very, very strong defense that didn't move at all, that they just decided to stay into point. And it lasted for 2 fights only. But if they want to have this, even if they don't play the exact same composition, they want to play it the same. If you want to have a strong defense, then that means that you need a double shield, that you need that extra protection. They can go ahead. I think you want to have a little bit more that mobility, so maybe the Sigma would be a better choice. But I think it's one of the possibilities they can bring to the table, at least for the next map, because it's already match points and Peter University is doing so well.
Yeah, and Rider University, we're seeing a little bit of adaptation come through them. I'm definitely not against it, as you said. Kind of that thinking of the defense where, well, we just have to hold as firmly as possible, and we'll at least come out with this with a draw. That's the kind of thinking that I think Rider needs to lean a little bit more on, and not necessarily the Bastion method of thinking, but perhaps a little bit more of the non-conventional method.
It's one of those things that usually get those upset matches to happen is when the enemy team is not expecting what you're going to bring at all, even if it's that a hero or a playstyle that you're not expecting. I was even surprised to see the Doomfist, and even though it was just a little bit risky playing against Bastion, those are things that really surprise the enemy team the most, and where you have the most possibilities to pop off to get a few kills. And for Rider University, that's exactly what you want to do if you want to bring it back now.
Yeah, and to bring it back on Volskaya, certainly going to be a grim task, considering that they haven't been looking the most supreme against their opponents. And, given Ryder's, I guess, kind of pedigree that we saw from last season, this does not speak ill against them. It just speaks very highly of St. Peter's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think we were expecting more of a closer matchup. And the fact that we haven't seen it just shows that St. Peter's does have the synergy going on. It might have been something that has to do with the meta that is working out for them. There are different possibilities that we can bring to the table for Rider University. They are struggling quite a lot, and we don't really know what goes behind the scenes, but all we can predict is that they can make the changes necessary, even if it's not in this match, but in the next one, or at least here on this map in Volskaya.
Yeah, as we look towards Volskaya, we see the Widowmaker. It's a little bit of a drop to the past, as, the long-range hit scan can be a little bit applicable here.
Breaking Ball, dancing in the meantime. Yeah. I see it.
Nacho's jamming out.
I mean, you gotta be just that confident, so why not?
True. I never noticed that, the center of the Wrecking Ball is like a little speaker that you can see moving back and forth.
Whoa! I actually didn't notice them.
Yeah, very cool. Nacho's definitely looking to drop some moves there. Gonna get on candid camera, perhaps, as now the doors are gonna be opening. We look to see Rider University perhaps make a little bit more progress than we saw on Blizzard World. This would certainly be ideal for them, but Phoenix on this Genji might be a little bit difficult, especially if they can't close the gap onto the Widowmaker, onto the Soldier. But they can certainly close the gap onto a Rez. Things going very well for Rider University so far. 2 kills in their favor. They need to continue on with this momentum. Wrecking Ball dangerously low, but Blob pretty much left unchecked, and that's one player that we've known to always perform here, getting a third onto it as well. Phoenix trying to dance around the supports. Won't happen.
4 kills, 5 kills.
Oh!
How many more? Okay, well, it doesn't get the 6K, but that's enough to guarantee that fight. No one was looking at a Blob. No one was expecting that to happen now. Already, that's almost 75% for that Visor, showing how dominant this hero can be. And holding his high ground, especially having the support from your team, is exactly what can guarantee St. Peter to have a full hold once again.
Yeah, we're talking a lot about Blob, but Nachos already has the minefield up, ready to lock everybody down, put everybody in a zone of death. Riggs taking the double shot onto the Genji, onto the Zenyatta, and now things are looking very good for St. Peter's. They just continue to pick apart this opposing team.
Everyone from the side of St. Peter's doing a really good job so far getting those kills. Now, Rider University are struggling once again. They have to work together. They have to wait for everyone to respawn and try to go again. If not, it's going to be the same situation that we saw in Ilias.
Yeah, and Blizzard World looks like Nachos are going to be the one taking the fight to their opposing team. I believe stealing the health pack from Phoenix on that Genji. That's a little rude. There's a waiting line for that, my friend, but the pile driver waits for nobody. Nachos not able to get locked down despite this May. They really need to start focusing on this Wrecking Ball causing such a disturbance.
Yeah, the Wrecking Ball is just playing just as aggressive like we saw in Ilias, and that's exactly why Rider University started to struggle. They do have the Blade, though, if they want to use it now. They also are, seems like, forcing the Transcendence.
And it looks like Sagi will be utilizing that Transcendence to at least get a little bit of headway, but it's not going to be enough to save Gallantry, and Star Riku now taken down. There's no tank line for Rider University. St. Peter's in a very good opportunity, but that's not going to stop the Genji blade from coming out. And eventually the kills go on to Phoenix. A lot of ults invested, or rather, a big ult invested for no effect.
A few ultimates still remaining for St. Peter University. I thought he was going to jump off. I agree.
yeah, I get that.
Okay, well, Bob still on the field, ready to use that visor at any point. That might be the ultimate that is going to initiate next fight, along with the Valkyrie as well. Ready University, no ultimates have been effective, but they do have the Blizzard though. If they want to use it, everyone is so far away that it's not going to be easy to land it well.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be hard to lock anybody down, but finally the kill onto Nachos might open things up here. Rider University has the opportunity, but a big anti-nade coming in from Sell-Out Squad means that nobody can get healing. It's going to stifle them for at least a little bit. The Blizzard does come online, but it doesn't really hold to anybody. It goes left, everybody else from the side of St. Peter's pretty much commits right. Now we see the Primal Rage coming in from Gallantry, who can't quite manage to land the swats onto the Widowmaker that they need. However, Rider University still getting a few kills. A nice wall coming out from the May prevents Blob from getting too much, but St. Peter's, they never know too much.
Blob saving the visor for the perfect moment now. Oh, no. Well, Sagi is taken down as well, but the minefield doesn't even seem like that was necessary, but showing once again St. Peter's how confident they can be.
Yeah, definitely a lot of confidence here as Nachos looking to once again roll right towards the spawn of Rider University. And this is smart. You gotta have somebody contest the point if you're Rider University, and Nachos making it that much more difficult to do that. The Diva does eventually make it there. Overtime will tick down, but can anybody touch the Winston trying his best? Not quite able to refresh that timer, and because of that, St. Petersburg are 33% from victory.
Yeah, very similar situation to what we saw before. Rider University, they were trying to have different sort of engagements. They were trying to go into the backline, into the high ground. They even had a big opportunity with that self-destruct. Actually got one, but then it was a perfect timing for that tactical advisory to come through, get 2 kills, 3 kills, and that just guaranteed that St. Peter once again was able to win on the defense. Now they're the ones that they have to attack. And Rider University, are we going to see another Bastion now?
We certainly might. It's looking like a little bit of potential here. St. Peter's going to be looking pretty good. All they need is that one tick. St. Peter's, again, a little different from St. Petersburg that I mentioned earlier. That was my mistake.
Yeah, just a little bit different. But yeah, and then like St. Peter University, they just have played so well into those engagements that I really, really like seeing what they have to bring. They're not overcommitting those ultimates. They use maybe 2, and they can still guarantee they're going to win the fight with a single one more. Rider University, actually, hey, there's the Bastion.
Oh, well, big surprise from Rider University. We're looking to put down that heavy damage.
Now, the question is, the Bastion can work on this map, right? But seems like it's going to be in the high ground. They don't have a teleporter to go from one side to another, so that means the minute that someone touches point, they have to either all jump together or take them down immediately. A lot of big risk factors for Rider University, especially when you have Natchez and that Wrecking Ball.
So you're saying there's a chance as we see the Wrecking Ball immediately begin to dive. It's Nachos able to get away. He's not going to get caught out by Ranger this time, but the contest has to come through, and now everybody from the side of St. Peter's going to be looking to get funneled into that small room, immediately move up to try to deal with Ranger.
The Bastion's the only one on the high ground, and that's exactly what I was mentioning. No, they all have to jump down together. If not, it's not going to work out. 2 kills from Peter University, and this might be it.
This is already looking like it's going to go for St. Peter's. The shield's getting dropped down by Ryder, trying to keep themselves as alive as possible. Stariku, the last one on point. Nobody going to be able to touch before that first tick goes off. And with that, it looks like St. Peter's are starting the season off strong.
St. Peter's getting the 3-0. Rider University tried to play the composition, trying to play into that defense a little bit stronger, but it wasn't quite enough. And it was just, like you said, it doesn't even show that Rider University is not as prepared, but how prepared St. Peter University is. That's the biggest highlight here. Every single kill that they got, every single rotation that they have was effective. They made it work. I don't think they there were that many fights that were won by Red University. Maybe I remember 2, probably when they were holding the defense with the Bastion. But after that, it was just St. Peter University taking the pace of the fight every single time.
Yeah, taking the pace, taking the control, anything you could take out of a fight, St. Peter's were cashing those checks left and right. Excellent performance there. Rider University looking off to a pretty wobbly start, if I'm being frank, Dryad.
Yeah, and it just leaves me very excited to see what these two teams have to bring and what St. Peter University is going to bring in the future. If they're going to keep with this high performance, if this is, it's so many question marks of, was this something that benefited the composition, the synergy that they have? Have they been practicing together, have been scrimming together? And this is why they're doing so well, because they completely surpassed everyone's expectations on how they were going to do.
I definitely have to agree. They definitely came out very strong, very heavy in the swinging. And, you know, whether it's because of the meta, whether it's because of, you know, the player performance over the break, St. Peter's is going to be looking to ride this victory in. They have this momentum now moving ahead, and they're going to want to keep it. They're going to want to keep it hauling, keep it trucking, and looking to get their more points on the board in a more macro format.
Yeah, and now they can just look forward to maybe a tougher opponent. And I really thought Rider University was going to be a closer match against St. Peter's, but it seems like this is not even the case. They have to go into a team that's going to put that level of aggression, maybe like we saw in the match before.
Yeah, well, as I just said for St. Peter's, you know, momentum kind of plays in here. Rider University just needs that one team to kind of beat, or to kind of put up a little bit more of a fair fight against them, and all of a sudden they're going to be starting to look like they might, you know, be on the upswing here, Ryan. But only time will tell. However, for this matchup, it's going to end with St. Peter's being 3-0 over Rider University, and with that, Ryan, we are just about ready to conclude our final match. However, folks, and it does not mean we are done here. We do have a quick little interview we will be seeing after the break, so stick around. We're going to hear from St. Peter's. Hello, all you kind people. Thank you for staying tuned during the break. And as a special reward for staying tuned, me and Dryad have handpicked a member from the side of St. Peter's University. As you can see below, it is none other than Nachos. So Nachos, hello and welcome.
How you doing, guys? It's great to be here.
Well, great to have you, but I want to talk about something we saw. We saw a lot of fun play coming in from you guys. You guys seem to have a super aggressive take. Me and Dryad were talking about it pretty much the entire cast. What kind of goes through your team's mind when you take those really aggressive stances?
Well, honestly, like I think we all really trust each other in our respective roles. We have a lot of faith in that, you know, we're gonna pretty much do our jobs, so to speak. And so, yeah, like just having that comfort in our team, that trust really helped us just be aggressive as we were. Like I knew that Blob and our DPS would just have our back, while our healers would do their job too. So it was just easy to feel comfortable in taking that aggressive spot.
Yeah, and I actually have 2 questions for you in regards to that. So the first one is, you were playing the Wrecking Ball, and you were playing very, very aggressive, but your team was also playing aggressive. Was this something that, is this usually your playstyle? Is this a playstyle you decided to apply going against the enemy team, going against Red University? Because you were pretty much in their spawn for when we saw the first map Ilias, and then also we saw in Blizzard where we saw in every single map you just had the confidence.
Yeah, like I think it's just a matter of like just testing the waters. On ball, I really like to play aggressive. I just know that on ball you can get away with a lot of stupid things and just dive into a team, come out alive, and just like cause havoc. That's what I like doing on ball, is just creating a lot of mayhem, distractions, and I feel like that's what allowed our team to be aggressive too. Is just me distracting their combo and just allowing our team to do as much damage as they can.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that we were talking about, was that when we saw the teams playing today, they were playing more of the Winston Zarya, a double wobble composition, but you decided to stick to the Wrecking Ball and you were able to be successful with the rest of your team. So was that part of the conversation at some point to try to play something else when you were watching maybe other teams and you were screaming other teams? Did you ever bring the possibility of playing in something else and decided to just stick to Wrecking Ball and what you felt comfortable with? Or was that just everyone's going to play whatever they want, and like you said, you have a lot of trust in each other?
Yeah, I think it really depends on the map, but with Wrecking Ball, like you just can't go wrong with the boops. It's the fundamentals. But yeah, it's just, I guess it depends, but I feel like with Wrecking Ball you can do a lot on pretty much every map.
Well, absolutely. I think you've definitely worked very hard to prove that to anybody who may have doubted that in chat as well. I know we saw some of your sweet dance moves on Volskaya, but aside from practicing dance moves, in the future, Nachos, we are the first week into what I'm calling the second semester here. What are some things that St. Peter's either looking to work on, or what are some opponents you're looking forward to facing?
I think the biggest contender for us would probably be Marist. They were probably like our rival these past couple seasons, so we picked up some good players this time around, and hopefully we'll be coming for the championship this time around.
All right. Well, Nachos, we're definitely looking forward to seeing you cash in good on that word. We'll see you hopefully at the championships, or maybe a little bit sooner, depending on the casting schedule. But once again, thanks for coming in, answering a few of our questions, and hanging out post-game.
No problem. Thanks. Shout out to my team and everyone for supporting.
Absolutely. Take care, Nachos.
Take care.
And with that, Dryad, we are just about ready to conclude our broadcast day here at EGF with some fantastic Overwatch. It's been a blast. For those of you who are interested in catching it, you can catch more every Thursday right around this time, a few hours before as well. Of course, we're on the back end of this, but for myself and Dryad, Sir Waltham and Dryad, you can catch us at our Twitter handles below. Congratulations once again to St. Peter's University for coming out with the win. We hope to see you guys next week, but until then, take care, stay safe, everybody.